All right, everybody, this is Southwind, and I wanted to start this interview out by saying thank you so much, Chad Arms, for coming to my home place and sharing who Chad Arms is, what he does. And if you don't know who Chad Arms is or what he does by now, you live under a rock. So I'm just going to say that.
Bubba. We'll get them hip, man. That's what it's about, dog.
Hey, stay hip out there. Come on,
sure, man. Just don't break them. You know what I mean? You break the hip, it's over with.
Yeah, man. It's just a privilege to have someone like you come and spend time out of your busy day, out of your busy week.
Yeah.
Somebody who is a staple, and for the life of me, I can't figure out how people don't know or they've never interviewed you before. You've never had an official interview, but such a staple in the 615 rap community for so long, who has worked with A-listers, who has worked with, I can't even think of somebody. I mean, I'm sure there's people I have no idea who they are, came up and you've worked with them or you've interviewed them or you're involved in a podcast.
Right.
There's so much stuff. So this is the exclusive Chad Arms interview. You guys are going to know who Chad Arms is after today.
I appreciate you, Bubba.
Believe that. I know we talked a while back about collaborating on a song, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I was just thinking, has anybody ever interviewed? Because I love your music, man. I love Anxiety. That's one of my that song speaks to me. And we can get into that later. But at the time, I was just kind of throwing out some ideas, and I was like, man, I would love to interview Chad Arms. Mm-hmm. The dude has done so much stuff that maybe people don't even know about.
Yeah.
I mean, there is literal viral content from A-listers that Chad Arms filmed himself and been a part of and is best friends with and all this stuff that people don't even know about. Yeah. And so I threw around the idea of I threw around the idea of, hey, man, would you be down for an interview? And you sounded surprised.
Yeah.
You sounded kind of surprised on the phone.
Yeah.
Why was you surprised?
Man, it's just because most of the time I'm so used to being the one that is doing the interviewing that I guess nobody's just thought to ask to interview me because there's the majority of people that I work with, they don't really do that kind of content. They're just mainly artists. And they focus more on the artistry of it, like of just the music. But me, I've always been a fan of just content in general. Like, I've been doing music since 2002, 2003 is when I started. But I started doing YouTube like 2009. So like, and we'll get into all that, but like, I guess just over time, people just see me in this light of, that's the guy that does the interviewing, so nobody's ever thought to interview me.
Right.
I'm excited about it, bro. I'm glad that we're sitting down, for sure.
Man, that's why I would call Chad Arms. We might even call the interview. I don't know. We're going to call it yet. We're going to think of a cool name though. Might even call it Unsung Hero. Might call it. I mean, he's the backbone, guys. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You can't move that head around. You can't run them legs without the backbone. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah, man.
So, all right. So I got some funny. All right. So the juicy details, the viral stuff, the A-listers, all of the epic stuff he's done. We're going to get into that here in a little while. Mm-hmm. But I'm just going to throw him some warm-up questions, some funny stuff. Okay. Let's just kick back and relax. All right. So a subscriber made me promise. They're ready for this interview, bro. A subscriber made me promise to ask you this question.
Okay.
How many hats does Chad Arms own?
Oh man, I should have counted them before I came here if I'd have known. It's well over 100.
Woo!
Yeah, well over. Like I had a problem back during COVID. I didn't have anything to do. And of course, my Mel's with me now, and that's my ride or die. She's always gonna be with me.
Right.
But she, bless her heart, she's went through so many different inklings of Chad Arms and his rabbit holes. Whether it's, not only do I have an obsession with fitteds, bro, I have an obsession with cologne. I've got over 50 bottles of cologne, bro.
Are we the same person, bro?
My
wife got seriously pissed off at me because I bought like 50 cologne. I had 50 at one time, and she was seriously pissed off. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. But well over 100, bro. Like I've chilled out. I've only bought maybe 3 hats in the last 6 months. But there for a minute, I was buying 3 a week.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, this one's out. I need to get this. And now it's just like.
We would go hunting and I would
Yeah, we'd go hunting for them. And
But Mel, this one's a different color. It's the same ad.
Yeah,
That's
what
awesome.
trips me out too is whenever, because I went years without watching baseball. I used to be a die-hard baseball fan, bro. I've always watched NFL, but like I stopped watching baseball around 04, 05 when I started doing music. I just got busy.
Yeah.
I started watching baseball again this year, and I'm just all the way into it. Well, I've been a Braves fan since the early 90s.
Oh, for sure.
But when I buy hats, bro, I just buy whatever hat I think's cool. I don't care what.
Yeah.
So, like, it's funny when I'm out places and people are like, oh, man, you're a White Sox fan? And I want to be like, nah, bro, I just like the color.
I'm a hat fan.
Yeah, I'm a hat fan. But
no, I know what you mean because like in the early, I went through a big hat thing and it was always fitteds. I love fitteds and the flat bill. And like back then, I would just kind of like put it on a weird spot on my head because I have a huge head, bro. Hat sizes.
What size you wear?
7'5".
No.
Or 7'3".
Size 8, Bubba.
8 flat.
Yeah, dude. 8,
Oh, dude. Okay, you got me. You got
No,
me
that
beat
ain't
up.
a brag. That ain't a flex to have a bigger.
It's hard to find though.
But like man, it's just been. I can't wear snapbacks. I even put it on the last snap, and that motherfucker's like, let me out. So I'm like, I just got to wear flat bills, man. I'll be that 50-year-old dude with a goddamn gray beard rapping like a motherfucker with a fitted on. It's just me, bro.
With a flat bill.
People can. What's funny? One of the times we went out to eat, I was going to take a piss, and somebody came in and they did not like the team that I had a hat on of. Right. They did, and it kind of got like awkward in the restroom after I got done pissing. I was washing my hands, and he was like, "You're a such and such fan." I can't remember what team it was. I was like, "No, man, I just like the hat." And he looked so disrespected that I was wearing a hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, he was older. He was probably in his 50s."
But he took it to heart, huh?
But he punched me in the face, and we had a beer afterwards. So.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, man.
No, I got a lot of fitteds, bro. But I've chilled out.
That is the funniest. I had to ask that question just because I'm like.
I get asked it a lot.
I'm like. I mean, I'm a pretty serious guy, whatever. But that was the funniest question. I was like, out of all these questions you could ask Chad Arms, it's like, how many hats does it have?
Yeah, salute to whoever wanted to ask that. They really wanted to know. It's over 100. I'm sorry. If you tell me who it is that asked it, I'll count them and send them the actual number. But it's well over 100.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
They follow some Chad Arms if they know about your hat situation.
Sure. I appreciate them. All of them.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, here's a funny warm-up question for you. These young bloods probably won't remember this, but how many HP desktops have you ever crashed or given COVID to because you've been downloading your favorite music from Kazaa or FrostWire?
So, fun fact, man, if I had the squints button, I'd push it. So, I crashed multiple computers back in the day from Napster, from Kazaa, from LimeWire. That was back when digital, because in high school, before I started rapping, I was the DJ at my school, and by DJ I mean I would make mix CDs for people.
Nice.
So like, I was constantly downloading music, man, and that was just what it was back then. And I had hundreds and hundreds of CDs. So I've crashed a couple of HP laptops in my day, man. One of them actually had a bunch of Chat Arms CD footage from back in the day that I hate that got deleted because that would be priceless.
No.
But for sure, I've crashed a few of them though.
Man, they just don't know, do they?
They don't, bro. That was it's like it was a different time, man.
It is, man. I'm one of the, I'm one of the late 90s, early 2000s kids too, man. And so the funny thing is, from back then, I'm gonna tell you, if you didn't have a love for music, you didn't have to. You didn't have the experience of walking into your parents' bedroom at 1 o'clock in the morning and telling them that the computer's not working, and then the next day getting that ass whooped.
Or waiting fucking 7 hours to download one song that was like 8 megabytes.
That's another good one, yeah.
DSL internet or dial-up internet.
That's another good point, yeah.
That was man. I was a student of the game, bro. Like, I bought hundreds and hundreds of rap CDs. And I would study them because once I realized that that's what I wanted to do, I would read all the liner notes. I'd read all the lyrics to the songs. I was just a lyric. I was a lyrics guy.
Yeah.
Because back then, that's what it was. It was based on. It was based on how dope or what is what you're saying. Now it's more. I try to blend both, but like now it's more about the beat and how you're saying something. More than what you're saying.
A lot of fusion.
But that's just everything changing. But yeah, man, that was just the way of the times back then, bro.
Good days, good times, man.
Yeah,
good times. But like you said, man, I think it's important. And nowadays, man, I ain't throwing no shade toward nobody young, man. I love everybody, but it's almost like that was an important time because you had to go to some great lengths to like get your, you know, and you kind of respected the process of. You know, having to get on there and then go to your buddy's house, and 10 hours later you come back and the green bar is only halfway, and you're like
60%. You're like, man, I started this before I left the house. I didn't went to school.
Went grocery shopping with mom. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that was a cool time to grow up. It was a lot harder, man. You know, nowadays
simpler times though, for sure.
How big would Chat Arms be if he had streaming at his fingertips back then? I mean, he would have, you know, he would be 1 million, 5 million followers.
I tell people a lot that people will hit me up and be like, I can't believe you don't have more or whatever. And I don't let that get to me just because I'm thankful for what I have, but
oh yeah,
I do feel like I was just a tad like before my time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like what I was doing. If I was being, if we had streaming like back then, like it is now, it would be a different story. But it's just the time that mom and dad decided to have your boy. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I fell in. But I like the fact that I'm considered an older cat in this genre, in music. I don't look at that as like a bad thing. I look at it as like a badge of honor type stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I've been able to stay relevant for 20 years.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. And
for a while, I used to think the opposite. Though. I used to think that, man, I'm about to be 40. I'm about to be this. Like I ain't got no business doing this. But now it's just like I just appreciate the longevity that I've been able to sustain.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. And the funny thing to me is like. You know, there are clips, and we're going to get into the clip, one specific clip that we're talking about. But there are clips that people have watched for a long time. They don't even realize, probably way more than just one clip, they don't realize Chat Arms filmed it or whatever. You know what I mean? And there's probably people that's taken, you know, like little shorts of clips, and Chat Arms probably filmed it.
Oh, that happens constantly on TikTok.
Daily.
Yeah. I get tagged in videos and somebody's using certain footage and they don't even bother crediting me for the footage. I'm like, but I don't want no money, but at least put my handle and say that I shot it.
Yep.
Like, but that's just the way things are now, bro. It's just a matter of content is so
accessible.
Easy to just grab and download and upload, and that it's just people don't even think like that. I don't even think it's a thing where they're intentionally trying to do it. It's just, oh, this is cool. Let me show my friends this.
Right.
They don't even think about, well, who filmed this? It don't even cross their mind, and I don't even make me mad to an extent. But it's just like
have a little.
Yeah, that's just as my dog Broadnex would say. I'm old law, baby. I'm old law.
I love.
Like I gotta be like I'm from that. You know what I'm saying? I've had to learn to evolve stylistically and just in general, change with the times and stuff, but.
Well, that's awesome,
back then, bro.
That's awesome. Okay, so just to get some context here at the beginning, just get some context of if you're watching this interview right now and you're like, man, who is Chat Arms, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, just to get some context for you, how many albums and songs do you have out right now that you have released? Can you... Do you have an exact number, or do you have like...
I can ballpark it. So we're over 30 albums on the streaming platforms, but we're over 800 songs total on... It's probably close to 35 albums now, whether that's compilations or collab projects or greatest hits or just regular albums, mixtapes that I ended up putting out on streaming platforms. But it's well over 800 songs, and we're probably going to put out 3 projects this year, probably.
Wow. Yeah. So, guys, this is Chat Arms. Go down the rabbit hole, man. There is countless abilities to have a great time with his music. You can take one album, listen to it, and be like, man, I love that. Mm-hmm. I want another one. Well, there's about 35 of them. So
I've got anybody that's a Spotify listener, so just for the fuck of it, I made a complete, because I know that a lot of artists do this, where if they got a big catalog, There's people that'll make playlists of that one particular artist's entire catalog for people to like stream. So I was like, you know what? I had like an hour or so. And I was like, let me see how long it'll take me to do this. And it's like almost 52 hours of music. Yeah, it's
52
wild,
hours music.
Now some of those are like repeat songs because they've been on maybe 2 different projects and stuff, but it's still over 800 songs like total. It's a lot of music, bro.
That is a lot of music. I mean, to be honest with you, like that's why one reason why I love independent music, bro.
Yeah, man.
You can literally get on there and you can find all this. And you know, Chad's not regulated by some label who's like, nah, bro, we want to release one album for every 5 years because we want to squeeze the money out of it. Yeah. Chad is an artist. He's a little bit of everything. He's an artist. He's a media guy, but he does it for the love of music, man. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about independent music. Is Chad's like, hey, we're going to drop 3 projects this year.
Yeah,
why not? You know what I'm saying?
And it's been a formula that's worked. You know what I'm saying? And it's just what I'm comfortable with, and it works for me. You know what I mean? And I like the freedom to be able to. If I get 7 dope songs recorded in a 2-week span, and I want to put an EP out or an album out, I can do that.
Yeah.
Or if I want to take 2 years and work on a project, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just speaking for me, it worked. That's how I like to move. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'd rather just be that way and do what I love to do. And hopefully people catch on to it and it helps people out and they enjoy it.
They're going to catch on. We're gonna make them catch on. So, like, is there, and this may be hard for you, can you pinpoint, and if you can't, that's fine, can you pinpoint one album or a song or anything like that you would say, this may not be my favorite or whatever, but this is Chad in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. This is like what I feel is one of my best collective pieces, an album or...
So I'll answer that in 2 parts. I'll answer it as a song and then I'll answer the album. Right?
For sure.
The song, I would say, that really started to get people to be like, was It's Not Every Day. That song was 2009. That song, I'll just give you a little backstory of that song. When we were recording that album, I have an album called It's Not Every Day. Right?
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I don't want to just do rap. Let me see if I can try to do some singing and rapping. And the producer that I was working with is a guy by the name of Zach Crowell, right?
Okay.
Zach Crowell has over...
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Zach Crowell. He has written over 30 #1 country songs. He's
a
huge producer. And another fun fact, he's one of the executive producers on Jelly's upcoming album, Winston Chapel.
Oh, that's cool, man. It went full circle, didn't it?
Well, back then...
That's nuts.
Zach was related to a really popular local rapper named Cadence. I don't know if you know who Cadence is.
I
Sitting
do.
on Dubs.
Shadow Punch It with Death. Or there was a song that Lil Cadence or something like that put out. Shadow Boxing with Death.
Okay, yeah,
maybe.
Well, so Cadence.
If I'm wrong, sorry.
I met Zach through Cadence, which is actually around the same time I met Jelly. It's crazy how all that turned about.
It's nuts.
That too, but Zach helped me with that entire album. The sound of it, and back then in 2009, bro. When we started recording that, nobody was rapping like doing stuff like that. So I was scared that people weren't going to like it.
Yeah,
people were used to hearing me just rap. So we changed it up, and I'll never forget when Jelly was incarcerated in 2008, which he's talked about. Me and him was keeping in contact on the phone. I was helping him with his MySpace page because he was trying to get it. We were just I was just helping as my friend. So I was helping him. We had known each other a few years at that point. I let him hear that song over the phone. He was like, "Bro, you got to send me that." So I sent it to him on CD in the where he was locked up at. He was putting people up on it. So when he was
cool.
Dudes in there were fucking with it, I was like, "Well, bro, I must be on to something because I don't rap any on this song." But that's where I feel like that's the song that I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Where people started to be like, "Who this is?" Like stuff started leveling up, right?
Right. Where you kind of found you found I feel like there's a certain point in every artist's journey where they're like, I found my original sound, kind of thing.
And what's crazy is after I did that album, I didn't really do another album like that one because I tried.
Right.
But I was too busy worrying about trying to compare it to that one.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll still dip and dab in that lane, but I love rapping, bro.
Right.
Right. So it's like that's the song, but the project would be the last solo album that I just released, Dedicated, because I spent more time on that album. Thanks to Mel and Squints for kind of. Because I'm the type of person, dude. If I like a song and I record it, I want to release it like right now.
Right.
And they were both like, "No, let's sit on it. Let's do this." So we took over. This was over a year and some change that we spent on this.
Oh,
one
cool.
album.
Yeah.
And I never released a project that was all solo tracks, no features. So that was important to me to be able to. I've done all these albums over the years. Let me do one just me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would probably be my favorite project, but the song would probably be "It's Not Every Day." Yeah.
It's Not Every Day. Y'all check that one out, man. Check that one out. The song "Not Every Day" and the album is Dedicated. Check those two out. Those are special to Chad, and I'm sure they're going to be special to us. I'm going to go listen to those, man.
Yeah.
And no offense, I've listened to a lot of your stuff over the years.
No, bro, I can't expect you to listen to all my whole catalog before the interview, bro. I mean, you'd have to have no life, bro, to be able to sit there for 51 hours and listen to my music.
I listened to a lot of it, but
yeah.
But what I did was at 52 hours, I got in the car and I drove to California and back 3 times, and I finally finished. No, I'm just kidding.
Hell yeah.
But that's awesome. So
yeah, bro.
That's Dedicated, and
It's Not Every Day.
It's Not Every Day.
Yeah.
Kind of leads us into another question. So you're an older cat like me, and like you said, bro, that's a badge of honor for anybody to have longevity in the industry and to build and and lately your stuff's been ramping up like crazy.
Yeah,
and,
thankfully, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So like for anybody to have that is always a badge of honor. But when we were kids, we didn't really have YouTube and all that. So whether it was a cassette or a CD or an album, do you remember? Like even from childhood, like 5th grade or whenever, teenager, whatever. Do you remember one specific album, or if it's more than one, that's fine. One specific album, CD, cassette that like you could not listen to it enough, and you probably scratched it, so you bought 3 copies,
for sure.
and you just wore it out, and it made you say, "Hey, Chad Arms is going to be a rapper."
I'll tell you, I know exactly what it was because up until I was 13 years old, up until 1996, right, from like. Say I was 7, 8 years old, I listened to nothing but country music, right?
Yeah.
Country music cassette tapes, country music whenever CDs became a thing and I got a CD player, I would buy country music, right?
Right.
And I had heard rap songs, like I'd heard like Whoop There It Is and all these songs that they play on like TV and stuff.
Right.
But when I heard Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 1999, that is the CD. And the thing that's crazy is I didn't even hear the CD first. I watched them perform Crossroads live at the MTV Music Awards. And I was like, what is this shit? These dudes are rapping like super fast, but they're harmonizing.
Yeah.
I just thought they were the coolest motherfuckers on earth. And I was like, I want to know more about these guys. Well, I couldn't buy music with explicit lyrics at the time.
Right.
So I had to get the edited CD. So I bought the East 1999 CD, and I bought that CD. I still own it, actually. I probably bought it 20 times in my life. Whether people stole it or it broke or scratched. But, like, I had to go on to, when the internet was new, bro. This is how old your boy is. Like, late 99, 2000. I'd had it for a couple of years. I found out you could look up lyrics on the internet.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to know what they're saying. I know I can like sing the song, but I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, melodies or whatever.
Because Crossroads and like Bone Thugs in general. But then I started looking up lyrics. Then it went from Bone to like I want to know more about what rap music is.
Yeah,
and then at the time that was popping, it was anything Bad Boy. So it was like Biggie had just passed away, but anything Bad Boy, Death Row, like Snoop.
Yeah, for sure.
Biggie, anything in that genre.
Right.
Then it's like I found out what Southern rap was. So you had like Cash Money when Bling Bling came out, and Lil Wayne and Juvenile, and then you had No Limit with Master P and all that, and then it just was like I got a job like my junior year in high school at Media Play, which they used to be.
Media Play,
yeah, bro.
Shout out Media Play.
So I worked there for years, and that's where my check went as a staff because I was a teenager.
Yeah,
and I spent so many dollars, man, on rap CDs.
Oh, for sure.
And I was all the way in at that point, and I hadn't even started rapping yet. this was just me loving rap music and wanting to study it.
Being a fan, yeah.
And I've always been, if I'm on to something, I like it, I'm 100%, which is to a fault at times.
Right.
This is what sparked all that. And man, by my senior year in high school, I performed at my junior year high school, right? Born and raised in Springfield, Greenbrier, right?
Yeah.
Super like country town, not this country, but like a mix between this and like Nashville, right?
For sure, yeah.
I performed Big Timers, number one stunner, and Get Your Roll On It. My junior year at the talent show, right? With a friend of mine named Jade. Nobody knew what to think because nobody had ever done any rap songs. Everybody just performed whatever, anything but rap music.
Much less a white guy from the country.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
That's a cool story,
happened that
man.
junior year. Well, then my next year, this is what started it off, was the senior year. I performed, and I told this dude this, and me and him talk regularly. Bubba Sparks' Ugly had just came out, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I performed Bubba Sparks' Ugly at the talent show, and that motherfucker, bro, I say it set it off, but like back then, I have it on CD somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even know how to write my own raps. I would freestyle, I was terrible. But after that,
We all were, bro.
everybody hit us up and was like, "Man, why don't you write your own raps?" And I was like, I didn't even think about that. I'm just over here rapping other people's songs. I didn't know that I could. I was like, I don't know if I can write my own raps. I don't know how to write. So I just started.
So that's awesome that somebody saw enough potential in you to say, "Hey, bro."
Yeah, it was just my buddies, and none of because that was the thing. Like back then, bro, in 2001, when I did that, nobody even knew what. Like where I lived at, bro, people drove tractors to school, dog. They couldn't wait for Spirit Week. That's when you could be. It was Hillbilly Day. People could drive their John Deeres to fucking high school. But like me and my buddies that I played football with, we loved rap music.
Yeah.
So I was just like, shit, I'll just try and see if I can do this rap shit. And of course, when you get started, man, you're not good. You think you are,
Right.
but you're not. Like you listen to it now, you're like, this is awful, bro. I wrote that and recorded it and thought it was good.
Man.
You got to start somewhere.
So Bone Thugs and Harmony. No, that's what we're. Hey, we are. If the interview is long, it's even better. Trust me, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I want to know everything about this guy, bro. I want to have. Speak whatever's on your mind, even if it ain't a question. Talk about it, man. If it's something I miss, talk about it. Because, man, what I want to do, the thing I want to do, is I want this interview to be a staple point for. Hey, I want other people to be like, I could never top that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do.
I appreciate that, man.
Because
I'm glad I'm getting to tell my story, though. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Absolutely. We're here. This is your interview.
Yeah.
Let's say your mind. This is your interview, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited. So, Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's the one where you were like,
That's what started it, bro.
at the crossroads. Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna miss everybody. When Busy Bone did that, I was like, what did he just do? Let me try that. And I would get in the mirror and try to say it. Bro, I swear I was Busy Bone back then, dog. I loved it, man. Me and my buddies, man, one of my buddies had the unedited Bone CD. Well, this was before burners, bro. Or they may have been out, but we couldn't afford them.
Like CD burner. Yeah.
So we would we listened to that CD in his little boom box, but we'd have to wait till his family went to work, during the summer. I don't know how he got the CD. I think they just bought it and didn't know they bought a CD with parental advisory on it. So we listened to that CD so much, bro, because the one I had all the cuss words out of it.
Right.
Which it was just every other word was bleeped pretty much.
And that's like the church interview. I told him, I said, I used to have to hide the Kid Rock CD in the drawer.
Bro.
My mom and dad, they were good parents, man. They didn't want me, they didn't want their fifth grade son singing about hookers and methadone clinics.
Right, for sure.
So they were great parents, but at the same time, man, we ended up all right. I think we ended up all right.
No, for sure.
But yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony, so that's awesome, man. I was wondering that because everybody has that album, you know what I'm saying? And I had rap albums early on. I mean, I'm just Eminem. For me, when I was like in 7th grade. But then, I hit in high school, I hit a thing where I was like, dude, I was playing in metal bands and it was really weird. I just love music. Yeah. Honestly, I played almost every genre. I played in Christian worship bands. I was in a death metal Christian band one time. And then all of a sudden the 50 Cent CD,
Get Rich or Die Trying?
Get Rich or Die Trying. Many men. Like,
oh, yeah, bro.
Like, how could you not love? And then I went back to, I just kind of went back to rap. Then now I'm like trying to like put all this together.
The crazy thing about the performance at the high school talent show was that I hadn't, like I was saying, I hadn't even started writing my own raps, and everybody was like, "You need to start writing raps." And of course, I started, and I wasn't good at first, but like I started to work on music, and I used to record on. And a lot of people in the comments may know this. They're like our age. Well, I'm young, older than you, but
just Ted
on the desktop computers, right? There was the little microphone that would sit on top of the monitor.
Oh yeah.
And you had a sound recorder program on your desktop.
Okay, yeah.
We used to play instrumentals on like a Windows Media Player, and then hit record on that and record on that, bro. Like it was the most bootleg stuff ever.
Yeah.
So that's where I started.
Yeah.
And then, like I was telling you earlier, I had a group that I was in called Lyrical Royalty Entertainment. It was a big group of us.
Lyrical Royal.
Yeah, and see, what was crazy then is I didn't even go by my name, Chad Arms. I went by C-Dub.
C-Dub.
I got that nickname like growing up playing football because there was 2 Chads that was on the team, all growing up, like in junior pro every year. Well, I forgot how I got named C-Dub. It was just somebody called me C-Dub. I don't remember if it was a coach or a player.
Yeah.
And it just stuck through high school.
I got you.
And it was either Chad Rowe or C-Dub is what everybody called me. So I started going by C-Dub. Most unoriginal, especially for a white boy rapper, because everybody thinks you're CWB, which I wasn't. Salute to them guys back then. But I wasn't that. But people thought that, well, your name's C-Dub.
You're trying to be like,
Right, so I was like, it wasn't what it was. But I put out my first solo album probably like 2004. And it's on streaming platforms now. It's called Walk With Me. Now, it's actually a combination of my first 2 albums, because my first one, a lot of those songs were really rough. So I didn't put them up. I grabbed a couple of them off of there and put it with the... But that's kind of where things started in 04.
04, man.
Yeah, I didn't know... I was recording my own stuff. We was getting beats from SoundClick back then, which was just like BeatStars now. It's just where you can lease beats and stuff. I had this one producer. His producer name, I wish I could find it. His producer name is Hypnotic, right? His whole thing was like, did you ever listen to the old like Rockefeller, Jay-Z era, like those kind of like
yeah,
sample heavy beats?
Okay, yeah.
The stuff that's coming back in style now. Dude, we used to talk to each other through Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh my God.
He would send me beats through there.
Yeah. You remember MSN?
Yeah, bro.
Like MSN.
MSN, yeah. So, and dude, and to tie this in, fast forward 5 years, some of those beats that you hear like in that 2009 Jelly Roll house arrest era were those beats that I had for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah, some of them.
So you didn't waste nothing then?
No. I wish I still knew. That was he may not even be making beats anymore, but back then, dude, he was fire with the sample beats.
Oh yeah.
So that's when I started putting out solo music, and me and the group that I had, we was just putting stuff out, and I put out the one that really started kind of getting me noticed a little bit was when I did in 2005. It was called Something Special, and I went and got some artists that were popular in the city at the time, and got them featured. This is still before I met Jelly or anything. This was all C-Dub era stuff.
Yeah.
Now when you look it up, I just changed it to Chad Arms, but just because it'd be confusing.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to streamline it, but that's kind of when things started picking up, man. I started getting like professionally made artwork.
Oh yeah.
That's when all that was. No, you're talking 2005, and it was Cairo Inc. now, but it's Tony Delano, who is legendary like graphic designer.
Tony Delano.
Cairo Inc. Tony Delano. At the time, he went by Ebbtight, EBBTIGHT, right?
Yeah.
So fire, bro. He's done countless artworks. So he's done so many. He still does.
Does he still do it? Okay.
He's amazing.
I was about to say, dude, if I could afford it, that's one thing that I drop the ball on sometimes. I try. I can do a little Photoshop. I try to do my own stuff, but I need to start doing the professional. Yeah, hiring people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I might hit him up.
No, for sure. Salute, and he's got such dope energy, bro. He's such a positive dude. He was on the early, I think episode 10 or 11 of the podcast. But we'll end up getting him back on, but salute to him. But that's kind of when things started ramping up a little bit.
Nice.
The other stuff I had done previous, I want to feel like it was kind of like just me trial and error.
Yeah.
And that was still trial and error then, because you're building stuff as you fly it. But when
a lot of people probably didn't do professional artwork back then.
No, they
were probably like, Chad's stuff is awesome.
It's because I found out about him through one of the artists in the city that I was a big fan of, which was At the time, it was salute to him. I got a song with him dropping soon, City Paper.
Oh, okay.
So City Paper is a Nashville legend, bro.
Awesome.
So him, Fade Eastwood, Starlito, he was all-star at the time. Young Rail, all these dudes were like Nashville, like Bezel Gang, all these legendary Nashville artists, right?
I've heard
They
of
were all going
Starlito.
through Delano for their artwork, the majority of them were.
Oh, okay.
That's how I found out about it. And then so I started using him. Well, 2006 is when, like I said, we started Show and Prove. And the first one I put out on Show and Prove was Special Music. It was a mixtape. This is back when mixtapes were a thing.
Mixtapes, yeah, I remember.
That's the first tape that Jelly got on, was the Special Music one. I think he was on 2 songs on there. But that's when, which we'll talk about in the interview, but that's when Jelly was coming up to the house and recording, because I met him in 06.
Right.
And that's kind of when that started. But like, we did the C-Dub thing up until like 2008. The last one I did was one called Rapaholic, bro, and that's one of my favorite albums. It's Not Every Day, like Dedicated, It's Not Every Day, and Rapaholic are my favorite 3 projects.
Okay.
That's when I started working with.
Y'all go look those up, man.
Yeah, that was the
Check
last
those out.
C-Dub project. You know what I mean?
Okay. So this was
Yeah.
the birth of Chad Arms, and C-Dub was fading out. So,
So the funniest way that I changed it is I'd been wanting to change my name. I just didn't know what I wanted to go by. And at the time, this was 2007, nobody was just going by their name
yeah.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody had a rap name. Well, I got hit up so many times. Then I got hit up by this random person saying they were going to sue me because they owned the rights to it. Was some DJ
Oh, God.
or something. And I was like, okay, you know what? I need to just go by my name because nobody can take my name.
Right.
'Cause it's my name.
Exactly.
So 2008 is when I started going by Chad Arms. But it was just crazy that time frame, you know, it just seems like it was yesterday, but it was so long ago. But we started doing shows in 2007. That's when the shows started to kind of ramp up a little bit.
There you go.
Salute to T-Sean and Unk. They from the Albino Gorillas. I started performing in Antioch at the Playing Field, and then when the Rutledge, which is a legendary spot, now it's Martin's Barbecue on 4th Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Nashville.
Okay.
It used to be the Rutledge. That's where we did hundreds of shows.
I've heard of that.
Well, Latino Saint was booking shows there. Him and his wife were booking shows. And T-Sean and his wife suggested me to them because they had known me from the Playing Field.
Yeah.
I believe is how that worked. But salute to T-Sean and Unk for sure on that one. But we started doing shows, bro. And once we started doing shows there, and salute to Capo, that he was helping with Saint in that, that's where stuff's really started to pick up. Because now we
playing shows.
We're starting to kind of grow the squad. And we're just.
It's always good to get community involved. You know, everybody brings their families, and their families tell their friends, and then their friends tell their friends. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
I love Tennessee and 615 here. This is awesome. It's an awesome part of history. Just hearing all this.
Well, and see, in 07, that's when I met Squints. Like I met him at some random. Shout out to my guy, not Cliffy D. Shout out to Cliffy D. There's another guy, my buddy named Cliffy. He was a rapper. He had a birthday bash or a release party somewhere in the middle of Gallatin, bro.
Oh, okay.
It's a little small bar. I met Squints and another buddy of mine that I've done music with, B. Howard. They were both there. That's the first time I met Squints. This was like a year after I started Show and Prove. This is 2007.
Oh, wow.
And me and Squints linked up, and he was like, "Man, let's work on some music." So I got him on a song.
Yeah.
And then we just started working, and then we just. So, man, you want to do the Show and Prove thing with me too? He was like, yeah, let's do it. Because he was doing his own thing, I was doing my own thing. But that's
when we started way back then.
Yeah, 2000.
Wow.
So I started Show and Prove in 06, but I met him in 07.
Oh, yeah.
And then, this whole time we're being consistent with music, and this is still MySpace era.
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure, yeah.
Absolutely. And then that links us into 2008, where we can talk about it. The jelly. We can get into the jelly part now.
Yeah. All right. So so we can dive into into some of the juicy parts. Not that anything else hasn't been, but this was a huge interesting point to me, and following you and discovering who you are. Me being a video guy, when I first saw this video, and if you don't know this line, guys, I love Jelly Roll, and Chad loves Jelly Roll. Everybody loves Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
But if you don't know this line, this is where, to me, the legend began. Okay, two legends: Chad Arms, Jelly Roll. Because whenever this clip was filmed, I wanted to know who filmed it. I was like, because I'm a film guy.
Yeah.
I was like, who put this video out?
Yeah.
And so I found out. It was a few years ago. Probably about 5-6 years ago, whenever I started doing videos.
Yeah.
And this was a huge interesting point to me in this interview. The viral Jelly Roll video from with the famous line, if my PO asks, I hang drywall.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh man, there's shirts. Guys, go look at Jelly Roll stuff. There's shirts that are made.
That shit was crazy.
And there's so much that came, from my understanding, there's so much that came from that clip for Jelly Roll, for Chad, and everything.
Yeah.
And so, start on how that unfolded, and were you guys friends, and then afterwards what happened with y'all's friendships, and if anything stemmed from that clip for you or Jelly, if you could go into that and just kind of let's just talk about it.
So I'll just give you the Jelly Roll and Chad Arms backstory from jump.
Oh, let's do it.
So we met Jelly Roll. I knew of Jelly Roll through hearing about him freestyle battling, right? I never went to any of his battles, but I had heard of it. Then I knew that around 2005, I met Jelly Roll in what I was telling you about. We met him out. I'm pretty sure we met outside of a random show. I want to say it was Cadence's birthday bash, bro. I can't remember for sure. Jelly's memory's better than mine, but we met outside of there, chopped it up. At the time, we was in a camp called Lyrical Royalty Entertainment, right? It was me, my boy Pudgy, my boy Brandon E., my boy The Truth, Casper. There was a bunch of us.
Shout out.
Everybody, Wicked Ray. There was a bunch of us, right? We were all there. Jelly was just vibing with us outside, just politicking, just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
We had heard of him, right?
Right.
Then he ended up pulling up on us at some show that we had at either 12th and Porter or 3rd and Lindsley or something. Then it went from that to him coming out to my spot in Greenbrier to come record songs.
Oh,
right?
okay.
What a lot of people don't know, me and Jelly Roll have 30 songs together that are on streaming platforms.
Wow.
But all of them are from 05 to 2011.
Yeah.
It was like a 6-year time frame. So he just started coming out to the crib, coming out and recording. At the time, he had just put out Gambling on a White Boy Volume 2. He was working on the Hate Goes On album that he ended up putting out. I think it was with Street Flavor at the time.
Love that song.
So he started doing that. Fast forward a couple years to 07-ish. 07, 08, he gets locked up. He's incarcerated for the majority of 08, I think. Well, we just kept in contact because we were already friends and we've been working on music and stuff. He was just keeping in contact. I was keeping money on my phone. We was talking all the time. I was helping him run his MySpace. We were selling merch for him just to try to keep money flowing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the time, Jelly Roll's buzz was like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then he got locked up. Well, once he figured out he was getting out, towards the very end of 08, I can't remember if it was him or if it was just me wanting to just buy a camera, but I just got a wild hair on my ass and said I want to go buy a camera from Best Buy with a Best Buy credit card that I never paid. I just got the card, got the camera, and I was at the time, bro, I was
Appreciate
like,
you, Best Buy.
I was like 23, 24 at the time.
Right.
So, got my camera.
If you're looking for a Best Buy, we found.
Yeah, that's already been settled up years ago. But I did that because I was working in a factory, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was doing factory work, and I was like, I'm gonna get a camera. And then Jelly Roll got out. He got out towards the end of 08, and then I had already filmed a few vlogs and Day in the Life videos. Like if you scroll all the way back to Chad Arms TV, the first video that's on there now is Squint's Day in the Life Volume 1. And this was in 2009.
Okay.
YouTube wasn't owned by Google yet. There was no monetization on YouTube yet.
Right.
You had to go to youtube.com and search whatever you wanted to search.
Right.
MySpace was what people used. That's why if you look on those old videos, it's our MySpace accounts. But that's just what it was, right?
Right. I remember those days. It was weird. Yeah, it took a weird. I remember whenever it kind of shifted. People were like, "Oh, it's a career." Like it's
So January of 09. This is going to tie in. So Jelly had gotten out. When Jelly got out, we had gotten him a touchscreen phone.
Yeah.
none of us knew how to use a touchscreen phone because that was when it was like the flip phones or the slide-up phones or the sidekicks.
The chocolate.
There wasn't no buttons on it. We were like, what the fuck? Yeah. So he got a touchscreen phone. He had a curfew. He was on community corrections when he got out. He was released, but it was strict, right?
Yeah.
So he had to, you know what I'm saying? He had to come, and we had to get him back by 7 p.m. every night. But we were going and recording at High Rollers studio. Okay. So one of the times we were recording there, he brings the guy over there, and the first time I ever met him, and then he brought Worm over there. So if you go back to Worm Volume 1 and you click on that video, that's the first time I am meeting him. I'm filming him, but that's the first time I met Worm. I met him through Jelly. Jelly brought him over because Worm had just gotten out recently.
Right.
So that's where R.I.P. Wizzle. That's how I met Worm. Well, the freestyle video happened in January-ish of 09. Jelly always freestyle like that. Always. It was just when we were chilling, he'd just be freestyling or whatever. But when we were in the car, he never listened to rap music. He always, and he says that I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
He listened to James Taylor. He listened to country. He listened to rock.
Oh, wow.
He didn't listen to rap in the car. He didn't listen to his own rap songs that he'd go record songs at the studio. He'd get them on CD. He wouldn't even listen to them.
How interesting.
Yeah, he didn't like listen. I can vouch for him on that because I was the one driving him a lot of the times to certain spots, right?
Wow.
So I vouch for him on that. Well, one of those days, we were all at that studio, and there was a bunch of us in there, man. Bobby Hooks was in there, T-Sean was in there, James M was in there, of course, Rolla. D-Ray was standing in the doorway watching all of it.
D-Ray, yeah.
David Ray, legend. Jelly Roll had been freestyling to that beat because they were using that beat. That's why it's on a loop. If you watch the video,
yeah,
it's on like a 16-bar loop because everybody was writing verses to it.
Right.
We were doing something called House Arrest mixtape. And that's kind of what that was. You know what I'm saying? House Arrest, not Halfway House. That was another one. Jelly starts freestyling. I had been filming most of the day already.
Yeah.
I had about 30% camera battery left.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Cut it on, start freestyle battling. Or not battling, he was just freestyling. So, and then what y'all saw was a one-take thing. And then the only reason it was 10.5 minutes is because back then, YouTube didn't let you upload videos longer than 11 minutes.
Oh, okay. You
could upload 10 minutes, 59 seconds or under.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, you had to break them in parts, and I didn't want to do that. So on top of the phone died, or the battery died on the camera.
Yeah.
But that freestyle video that y'all see is Jelly Roll. Like, that's just what he always did. He did it a couple years prior to that with headphones on at my buddy's house for over an hour. It was before I even had a camera. He was doing it.
Jesus.
That's just what he did, bro. A beat would come on, he would just freestyle.
So the PO, ask my PO, hey, I hang drywall. That's an original just freestyle line.
Yeah, because see, with Jelly, that's the thing about Jelly, bro, back in the day, and all artists that have worked with him can vouch for this. Jelly would not write. He would get a piece of paper, and he would write the last word of each line.
Yeah.
Everything else, he would just
no way. Wow.
Yeah. So like those lines that he had, obviously it was freestyle, but like, some of it may have just been stored in his brain because most of the time he didn't write.
Yeah.
So it was, that was all like off the cusp. Like some of that stuff he may have used in lines later because it was so popular.
Right. Like if he made a song out of the
for sure. But like that was 100%. And another fun fact about that video, I get it all the time. Shout out to my buddy T-Sean. I fucking love you, dog. Everybody and their mama swears he went in the bathroom to snort something. That is not at all what happened. It was 90 degrees in that townhouse, bro.
Yeah.
He went in there to get water, drink some water, and put it on his face. But when he comes out of the bathroom, he's doing like this.
Sweat.
Bro, I love my dog T-Sean. He's had to tell so many people that say, and I can vouch for it because I was filming it. But I just wanted to throw that out there because everybody likes to say that. But that's definitely not what happened.
You're hearing it from the horse's mouth right now, man.
But bro, Jelly had so many classic lines in that freestyle, man. I mean, the PO asked I hang drywall. He said I cut my hair and lost it like Britney Spears. Dog, he said live up in a gangster's paradise. My name is Coolio.
Yeah.
It's a thug cat and hit your neighborhood like where the drugs at. Like Jelly, it was just
thug cat hit your neighborhood. Like
it was effortless, bro.
That's awesome, man.
That's And from that, bro, I mean, we had to. So something happened, and we had to take that video down.
Yeah.
And then we re-uploaded it in October of 2009. But it was released originally in January of 2009, and it got re-uploaded. YouTube took it down, and we had to take it down. I can't remember what happened back then.
That's weird, isn't it?
But we re-uploaded it. It had a couple, and we uploaded it like we did all the videos, and didn't know if anything was going to happen. And then it just took on a life of its own.
Boom,
and now
boom,
it's
boom.
over. On my channel, it's over 5.5 million, but on his,
Wow.
it's got a few million too because he put it on his channel as well.
That is awesome, man. What came? Did anything come from that video specifically, or like was it kind of a thing where, obviously in that age of YouTube, it was kind of a thing where it was like new and people were like, it was less saturated.
Yeah.
So probably something came of that from Jelly Roll. Like somebody noticed him. Did anybody notice him or?
I'm not sure on his end what all came from that freestyle video. I know that like as Jelly kept going and kept releasing music, because that same year he released Game On the White Boy Volume 3, and then later on he ended up linking with Lil White. Salute to Lil White, that's the family.
Oh yeah.
He linked with them and they did the Snow Project, and then he just kept propelling his career from there. So on his end, I don't know how much the freestyle catapulted him. I know that it almost was a thing where like years later is when it blew up, like a couple of years after that.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah,
YouTube started getting more popular.
Right.
And it kind of got circulated. And then I'm not sure what year he put the merch out and all that, but but on his end, I'm not sure what all the freestyle did, but on my end, obviously, it brought a lot of eyes to Chat Arms TV. And, Chat Arms TV, bro, fun fact for this, from 2012 to 2021, for 9 years, that channel was dormant. I didn't upload anything on it.
Oh wow.
Because I took a 2-year break from music and social media. I was just burnt out.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I've been going hard for 10 years and was burnt out and took 2 years off and didn't talk to anybody hardly, didn't get on social media, didn't do any music, nothing. I almost deleted Chat Arms TV channel multiple times, but I never did because I was like, man, it's got that Jelly Roll freestyle on it. I'll leave the channel up just for that, and then the Day in the Life videos that are on it and stuff. And I'm glad, obviously, that I didn't delete it.
Oh man, thank God you didn't delete it. Yeah.
But like that freestyle is it's legend. And dude, I've had hundreds of people that find out that I shot it and were like, I didn't even know you shot that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I did.
That's the one thing I want to bring attention to in this interview. It's just like, so like people see Chad Arms, anybody, like he's had a lot of subscribers in the past year or two, and so like, oh yeah, that's this new Chad Arms guy. No. Arms has been around, baby. He rubs elbows with the biggest, and I just wanted to point that out, man. I feel like that gets overlooked a lot, Because when I learn, so whenever I learn about a person, right, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that album. Justin Champagne's one of them. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh yeah, super dope dude.
Yeah, nice guy. I met him in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I'd love to link with him on something. We spoke on Instagram. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah. I met him at a show I was filming some stuff for. But like whenever I first met him, like I started seeing his music maybe like a year before I met him, and I was like, oh yeah, he's probably a new artist. No, man, I went back, and so I like to dig into people's past because I'm like, maybe they're not new. I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah. And so, like, dude has songs from, years and years ago I didn't even know about. So that's what I'm saying about Chad Arms. Y'all go down that rabbit hole, man.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man, that's it's crazy, bro. But that's the Chad Arms TV freestyle, the Jelly Roll Chad Arms TV freestyle is it's legendary, bro.
Legendary, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, since we're on the topic of Jelly Roll, what has it been like seeing a guy you used to hang out with and used to have to send commissary money to jail for? What has it been like seeing that guy become a massive success lately? And how do you feel about the wild and just? I mean, he's a household name pretty much now.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like, how do you feel about how that is going? I mean, I'm sure you're just like, this is crazy because.
Yeah, man. I mean. People, like, I'm proud of him, first and foremost, 100% proud of him. I'm happy for him. He never stopped. And I say that meaning, you go back to just relating this to this interview. You go back to Chat Arms TV when Jelly Roll was sitting there on one of the funny videos I posted, and he's like, "Please burn my music, burn the hell out of me. I'm gonna leak my own shit." He was just trying to get. He never stopped that. The grind that he stopped. His music changed, as far as like his style,
Sure.
and all that stuff. But his grind never let up. Like he
Right.
still approached things the same way. He just did a different type of music. Because even, I'll tell you this, Jim, right here. So when he was locked up, bro, he called me one night and he was like, "Man, I got a song I want to do, but it's not rap. I'm just singing."
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Really?" He would sing it to me over the phone, and he sang it to me multiple times over the phone. It's called "Pain No More," right?
Uh huh.
It is the bonus track on the Snow album.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you have a Memphis 3-6 Mafia style Lil White Jelly B Peasy album, RP B Peasy.
yeah. RP.
And then on the bonus track, you have this "Pain No More" song. That's the song Jelly Roll was singing to me over the phone when he was locked up. So he was wanting to do that in 2008.
So way before.
But back then, nobody had the resources. We just knew how to pull beats up and rap on them.
Right.
Nobody,
right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So like, and that was just what it was. But that's all. That also goes back to him not listening to rap in the car.
Yeah.
Totally
James
about
Taylor. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
whenever we were riding around in the car, I would want to listen to like Jeezy or something. He'd listen to it, but then he'd want to listen to something else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Mix it up or
Yeah,
whatever.
for sure.
Well, I feel like real artists do that.
No, for
a lot
sure.
of the times, yeah. And so like Jelly Roll, like him doing that from way back then shows his like diversity and his complexity in music. You know, and that's cool. That's cool to know. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's always just rapped his whole life." Well, sometimes you just don't know somebody as good as you think you know.
The Jelly stuff's crazy. The MySpace stuff's going crazy. The freestyle starts to get some traction, even though we had to upload it again. And what's crazy is there was other day in the life footage of Jelly that I took down, that got taken down from YouTube. And he talks about it in the Rogan podcast briefly, but so the Jelly stuff's going crazy. You know, the Chat Arms TV stuff's starting to really ramp up. We're doing the house arrest stuff with Jelly and all the other artists in Nashville. The freestyle's starting to bubble, even though we had to re-upload it because Jelly talks about it. He's talked about it in multiple podcasts, but like when he says something about his PO, that didn't go well. So we had to take down the freestyle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he talks about that.
So Jelly lives what he says. He really had a PO.
Oh no, he definitely did. Yeah, he had a because I had to make sure to get him back home by 7. But when he says I'm on probation, but I still go to ATL, that was a line in the song
Oh,
in a
wow.
freestyle.
Yeah.
But like
They
that
weren't-
rose some like, huh? Where are you going? What are you doing? So we
Oh,
took
wow.
and he's brought that up before. But in addition to that, we had like 3 day in the life of Jellies that were so dope, bro. They were just random. When we went to the studio with D-Ray, doing this, doing that, and those took down because it was just kind of a sketchy situation with the PO line.
Right. Yeah.
So we were like, okay. Well, I re-uploaded the freestyle, and my computer crashed, and I forgot, and I hadn't got to re-upload the other stuff,
Oh man.
which sucks. But
That's
we were
heartbreaking.
moving quick. I mean, everything was going great, man. And like I said, that everybody was moving. The Show and Proof stuff was starting to really ramp up. I dropped my It's Not Every Day album in June of 2009, which is one of my favorite projects. Jelly's actually on that one too. And then we dropped the Follow the Drip mixtape that same year, like a little bit before, to kind of promote the album. Because that was back when mixtapes, bro, were like
Yeah.
Dat Piff was like what you did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dat Piff live mixtapes. It was
Sold them out of their trunk.
sold them out of the trunk.
Sold them out of the trunk. I remember
Everywhere
that.
I went, bro, I had a box, a cardboard box that the CDs come in, and it had all of my albums. The ones I was telling you about,
Yeah.
I had burned copies of all of them, and I was selling them for whatever I could get them for back then.
Yeah.
Because that was when iTunes, It's Not Every Day was the first project that was on digital platforms, and it was only iTunes, and I had no clue what iTunes was.
Yeah.
My buddy Zach, the producer, songwriter that I was telling you about, that's doing stuff with Jelly now, he's the one that was like, man, we need to put your stuff on iTunes. And I didn't have an iPhone. I had like a
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, so like
Flip phone or something. Even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did too.
so that's when that started, and then like
Well, I remember people talking about. I remember I had a couple friends who did music, and they were just like, "I'm going to get my stuff on iTunes and make a little money," and I'm just like, "How does that even happen?" You know what I'm saying? Like, how did, because back then we didn't really, I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you can put your stuff on the computer that you're downloading stuff from Kazaa from or LimeWire or. Yeah, I didn't understand it at all. But yeah, I remember whenever all that started being a thing.
2009. I'll say this too, and this could probably be clip worthy. 2009 was the biggest year for Chat Arms. Meaning,
Oh wow.
this is what all happened just in 2009. We started Chat Arms TV. I met Worm. Jelly Roll 10-minute freestyle. All of the Chat Arms TV momentum back then was 2009. We're doing lots of shows at the Rutledge.
Oh wow.
The show and proof scene. We're doing all of that stuff. That they started. I meet one of my closest people to us now, Sis. I met Jamie LeMay. I met her.
Oh, okay.
She was coming to do pictures at the Rutledge, right? Her and Jelly have been like brother and sister from way back.
Oh wow. Okay.
So she started coming to the Rutledge and taking pictures, and I met her. Then she started being that was our road dog. She took pictures for us all the time we were at the Rutledge. That's where we go every Monday to chill with her and her husband Chris.
Right.
And Mel Cooks, and to this day, that's like my sister. You know,
absolutely.
Sorry we call her Sis, but
Everybody needs those kind of supports, and they're so important.
yeah, man, we met her back then. She was doing our pictures. We were, God, there was so much going on. That's when I met almost everybody, bro. I met Lex. I met Lex Top Dollar, Bravo, David Ray. All those during that time frame.
Yeah.
Young Zane, R.I.P. Young Zane, Big Tone. All these people were all part of that story in 2009, and we didn't know when we were doing it what we were doing.
Right. But now all
14 years later, bro.
Yeah.
The stuff that was going on in 2009, bro, it's like that's we didn't know when we were filming that Freestyle Jelly that it would do what it did. We didn't even know, because bro, this was back when people didn't even know what YouTube was. It had been around for 3 or 4 years, but it wasn't like it is now.
Exactly. And it wasn't just people saying, "Hey, Jelly Roll, let's film something for YouTube." You guys were just having a good time.
Yeah, we were filming stuff, and that's kind of how all that went. The Rutledge show started really ramping up. The year previously, there was this thing that started at the Rutledge called the Urban Music Challenge, which was like a tournament style thing. That's when I linked up with, me and Squints were already doing stuff. He was showing proof, but me and Squints and Blaze 314 and B Howard did a collab project called Arch Rivals. Right, it was 4 solo artists that did a group album.
Oh wow!
We entered into the Urban Music Challenge in 2008 at the Rutledge, and it was dope because it was eight people, and it was like tournament style. So you would do a song, they would do a song.
Oh, that's cool.
Say number 1 drew number 3. Number 1 does their song, number 3 does their song, and then there's judges that says who goes to the next round.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We went to the finals and we lost to Action, which Action had a song called Rubber Band Money back then. It just blew the.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Underground big. Yeah.
Yeah, but we that's when things started to ramp. And I just backtracked a little bit. That was 08, but
No, you get.
that's when things were going. The 2009, the Urban Music Challenge was still a thing. I kept entering it. I entered it as a solo artist and lost in the first round to somebody. And everybody was mad because they thought that I should have won or whatever. But I looked at those opportunities. Every time there was an Urban Music Challenge, I would drop a project the night that came out, that show was.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I treated it like an album release party every 3 months.
So you were doing 2009.
And 10. This was 09 and 10. Yeah.
09 and 10. They were the foundation of learning how to do stuff, drop stuff, and then you met,
So many
Jelly.
people.
You met, Or you got involved with Jelly more, Worm.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
2009 was the foundation.
That was a big year, man. And then
That's awesome.
February of 2010, I entered the UMC. I said, this is the last time I'm going to enter it solo. If I don't win, it just wasn't meant to be. So I entered in the Urban Music Challenge then, and at this point, a month or two prior is when the Chatty Bobby thing came about.
Okay.
So Talladega Nights came out a couple years before. I love Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah.
So Ricky Bobby was like the funniest thing in the world to me. So I watched it all the time. Everybody knew how much I watched it. And it was back when I was wearing all the big dumb jewelry and I had a real big chain and I said something about it. It looked like a racetrack. Call me Chatty Bobby or something. It was something.
Yeah.
And it just stuck. It was a line in a song.
Yeah.
And some people started calling me Chatty Bobby. Well, I drop a 2-disc mixtape called Chatty Bobby the Mixtape.
That's cool.
I drop it the night of that February 2010 Urban Music Challenge.
Yeah.
Right? I'm hoping I win, but like the other 2 times, I was like, man, I didn't win the other 2 times. If I don't, I don't. I had so many artists on that album too.
Nice.
But it was just an album release party for me. And I took advantage of that, I think, very well. Like, it benefited me a lot back then. Well, I fucked around and won it.
Oh, did you? Yeah. That's all right.
And there's a video of it on the YouTube, and it's one of my favorite videos.
So this was like Eminem winning at the shelter then, right? Like,
kind of like my version. I was like, it was between me and this dude named Young Fanta. Shout out to him. He was a super cool dude, and he was talented too. And I was like, man, we're 2 completely different artists. We're standing up on stage, and they're like, and the winner is, and this was close, and somebody yells out, Chad Arms! And then Saint, who I told you was running the shows with the Rutledge, says my name, and everybody just freaks out. I was like, man, I can't. Squints is super hype, Sis is super hype. My boy Brandon E. It was just dope, bro, because it was like, I finally got some kind of recognition, and people may think back then or now that it wasn't a big deal. Back then, that was a big deal in Nashville.
Oh, absolutely.
Urban Music Challenge.
Yeah.
And then from there, we kept doing the moment. That's when the Fat Boy Swag stuff started happening. I did a trilogy, Fat Boy Swag trilogy, in 2010 and 11.
Well, I've had several comments on my YouTube. Like people say, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It was just whatever." But I've had several comments on my YouTube I didn't even get to tell you about. In the past, where it was like they're waiting, talking about the interview or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I remember listening to Chatty Bobby 15 years ago." So they're out there. They're out there.
I get called Chatty Bobby more than Chad Arm. Fun fact: huge salute to this. We ain't even talked about this yet. My dog Jelly just showed up on the Joe Rogan podcast, which was fucking wild. And he shouts me out in the podcast. And what does he say? Chatty Bobby, Chad Arms, I love you forever.
Yeah.
And salute to Jelly for that.
Even with Jelly, Chatty Bobby is still,
because he was talking.
Never a time that he doesn't call him Chatty.
No, he's always like Chatty Bobby, Chatty Bobby. Like that was always the thing. But salute to him because for him to be on that platform, bro.
Oh my gosh.
And to not only say my boy Chad Arms, but to say Chad Arms, Chatty Bobby, I love you forever. Because what he was talking about was I started in my MySpace and a YouTube channel back then, and we were using money because he found out his daughter was born while he was in jail. The guard comes up and says, "You had a kid today," and just walked off. Well, he was. I remember one of the conversations that we had on the phone. Was one of them we talked about already with the "Pain No More" song when he's singing on the phone to me.
Yeah.
The other time was when he was like, what he said in the podcast with Rogan. He said, "Man, I just had a baby, man. We got to figure something out." So that's when we started selling his mixtapes, whatever we could do.
Yeah.
But salute to Jelly. But Jelly calls me Chatty Bobby to this day. However many millions of people listen to Joe Rogan know there's somebody out there named Chatty Bobby that Jelly Roll loves. So I love him forever for that.
It would be great if they looked up both and they're like Chatty Bobby and Chad Arms. They look so much alike.
Yeah, same person, bro.
I'm gonna download all their music, both of them.
Same person.
That's hilarious. Man.
Within the last year, Jelly has nicknamed me Melly Bobby.
Melly Bobby, and Sis, we call Sis, who I was just talking about earlier, Sissy Bobby.
And Nana Bobby.
Her mom's, we call her Nana Bobby. So it's just all kind of like it's just a fun thing to do. But
I ain't gonna lie, dude. As soon as I learned about Chatty Bobby, I immediately Ricky Bobby. I mean, I didn't want to make the connection and it not be right.
The album cover is me photoshopped on Ricky Bobby. There's no mistaking that's what I want. Yeah, so you were right.
I got you.
I was like, I want him to think I'm so.
And I love Talladega Nights.
Oh, dude, come on, man. Yeah. Come on, man.
Classic.
I love the way they're talking to you. They're winners. That's what winners do.
If you ain't first, you're last. All those lines, man.
Throwing Chips War medals over the bridge. I'm like, God, that's some evil kids, man.
The valedictorian at my son's school actually did a clip from that movie.
Oh my God, he quoted Ricky Bobby. It was great.
He quoted Ricky Bobby. He changed the bad words.
He changed piss is excellence to breathes excellence. But he said it. I was like, I like that kid.
That
It's one of her
And
son's best
he
friends.
ended it. He said, "If you're not first, you're last," and walked away.
Ricky
I was
Bobby.
like, "Yes."
That kid's going somewhere.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, like that stuff, that momentum kept going. I got another story I could tell you too.
Uh-oh.
Throw it on me, man.
Right after we did, I won the UMC in February of 2010. I was telling you about. Part of that package deal was a big prize package, mixtape hosted by certain DJs, production from certain producers, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to do a song. We were going to Knoxville because I had a show. It was a benefit show at like a high school, but it was a dope little show that I did at a high school.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there's a video of it on channel. It's called Chatty Bobby like Knoxville Invasion, right?
Nice.
Well, I went with Sis and I went with Jelly. Jelly had stuff he was doing up there in Knoxville already. I want to say it was stuff he was doing with Bravo Gator.
Gotcha.
We linked with Bravo up there then too. But 2010, we go do a studio session with one of the groups that was in the UMC against me.
Oh, okay.
They were a group called 2010, and it was like a group of like 4 artists. We went to their studio to cut a song with them. Well, before we did that, the hotel that we were booked in is the first, and still to this day, the only hotel that had a drive-through window in it. It was a hotel, and you can see the footage on Channel
Really?
TV. Jelly is driving. I'm in the back seat bragging about Jelly's phone because it has navigation on it. I'm like, Jelly's phone is so dope. It's got a navigation. Look, you can see where you're going. I'm like, I had MapQuest printed off in the passenger seat probably.
This is crazy. Yeah, MapQuest. Now, shout out to MapQuest.
Dude, but like Sis was like, you don't even see this in Antioch. But like Jelly's like, I called this girl and asked her, what do you do for fun here? She said, go to the IHOP. But I always love that story because that was just, but Knoxville was.
Y'all get on there and check that one out, man. What is that? That's on your
Chatty Bobby Knoxville Invasion.
Chatty Bobby Knoxville Invasion.
But like, another thing about tying this in with Jelly still, because Jelly was doing his thing, me and Sis were doing our stuff, and we were fixing to go to that show. Jelly heard we were at the studio with that group. He was like, man, y'all at the studio still? We were like, yeah. He's like, I got some time, I'll come through. Comes through the studio. Here's a beat. He's like, what y'all working? Y'all want me to do a verse? We're like, yeah, you can do a verse. Because me and Jelly were doing so many songs together back then.
Right.
He walks in the booth, and this is on the video too. There is a stripper pole inside of the recording booth.
Nice.
He's freestyling his verse and references the stripper pole. I'm such a Mac that there's a stripper pole in the booth. One time, like, kills it. Everybody's like, oh, you killed it. And then he just like, all right, I'll let y'all, holler at y'all later, and just left. He just came through and just dropped a verse just like that and left.
He literally came through, man.
Yeah, but we went through and me and Sis went and did the show.
What song is that? Is that song out?
It's called Get With It. It's Chad Arms in 2010.
That's so cool, man. Hearing all this history like that.
Yeah, man, it was me and that group 2010 and Jelly. It was just he wasn't planning to get on the song. He just got done with whatever he was doing. And was like, what y'all doing? And we coming through. And that's just how he was, bro.
Yeah.
He would pop in and drop fire and just be like, all right, I'll just holler back at me. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
That's just how Jelly's always been that kind of
Spontaneous.
yeah, man. And we just we kept moving. The show.
And so that reminds me of Upchurch too. Like we talked about,
Yeah.
But like he's the same kind of way. He just lives life spur of the moment, man.
Dude, and I mean, I watched when Church came and did them features for me, bro. Like, I sent him a couple of beats before, but he didn't write that. He didn't have that shit ready before. We played them beats there. The Live Forever song.
Yeah, Live Forever.
That hook, I don't even know if he wrote that hook there or had it in his head to that beat before.
But
like, that shit was quick, dude. And his verse on Work, he wrote it on the spot. We were playing songs after he did that song. After he did Live Forever.
Yeah.
We went out and chilled for a little bit, came back in. And he was like, man, you got anything else? We were like, well, before we play you any beats, check out this song me and one did.
Yeah.
We played him Work. That's the clip that you see online of him vibing like this.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
We hear that. I turn my camera off. He's like, bro, does that have a verse on it? We were like, we can make it have a verse on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure, yeah.
So he wrote a verse on the spot. So, like,
wow,
I say that because it's similar to Jelly. Like, the same.
reminds
Leroy's the same
me,
way. They're all very, very good at quick. And it's not like quick and not dope.
Kinda.
It's quick and quality.
Yeah,
you know?
it's crazy, man.
But, like, the show and proof stuff, we kept building, man. Because at that time, we were like 10 artists deep. And you got to remember, I'm I'm doing the management stuff for the. We wasn't all getting a bunch of shows or nothing. And Jelly had his own thing going, but Jelly hosted my Fat Boy Swag 2 mixtape.
Oh yeah.
And was a big part of Show Improve back then. You know what I'm saying? It still supports us to this day.
That's awesome. You don't know somebody as good as you think you know.
Well, and what he told me too, whenever we were on he's told me multiple times recently in the last couple of years, but everybody wants him to do like Welcome to the Trap House or like the rap stuff, including me, because Rap Jelly to me is like that's. I don't want to say it's my favorite Jelly because I like the stuff he does now, but like it's just it puts me back into a nostalgic time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but when he told me, he was like, I can't, the songs that I'm doing now, I can perform, God forbid, if I'm here or God willing, if I'm here till I'm 60 or 70,
Yeah.
I can perform Save Me.
Right.
I can perform Son of a Sinner.
Right.
I can't perform Welcome to the Trap House, and I love that song. It's my favorite Jelly Roll song.
Right.
Shout out to O&E, Show Improve. But, I mean, like
You can't go to the Grand Ole
he
Opry.
can't do the 10-minute freestyle when he's 60 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
he can perform Son of a Sinner, or it just has more of a shelf life.
And that's kind of like, if you guys haven't seen the interview with Upchurch that I did, that's kind of like what Upchurch was saying. And both of those guys, man, I'm so glad that they're like on the same page or whatever. And they're both great guys. And so,
sure,
like,
yeah.
that's kind of like what Upchurch was saying. He was saying, hey, I love my younger rap stuff. Like hardcore, like I'm gonna put a 45.
Oh,
but,
bro, yeah.
Hey, he's like, I love it. He's like, but dude, I'm like 30 something now.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to go to bonfires and I want to like hang out with my family and stuff like that. But like it kind of reminds me of what you're saying about Jelly. And also, you can't get on the Grand Ole Opry with Craig Morgan and sing about Almost Home and then Almost Home at the Trap House. So,
And bro, again, back then, Jelly used to listen to that song, bro. That Craig Morgan song, Almost Home.
yeah.
So like, he was listening to that stuff back then.
So that's true. That's a true story.
But like,
though.
just from my perspective, like I witnessed like Jelly being into that style music and wanting to do that style music back then. But back then, y'all just gotta understand it. The times were just different, bro.
yeah.
Times were just different. People looked at you differently if you did that kind of music and you were a street rapper
Well, for sure.
or just a rapper in general. They'd be like, "What are you doing that for?"
It wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool to blend styles back then,
Right,
Because you
right.
got to think, 2009, country rap, like obviously Bubba was doing country, but they weren't calling it country rap.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was rap. He was just a cold ass white boy from the South.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
But like Pimp C was calling it country rap tunes. That's my favorite. Him and Project Pat are my two favorite
Pimp
rappers,
C,
right?
yeah.
R.I.P. Pimp C. But blending styles wasn't just a thing back then. Like, yeah, now it's dope to rap and R&B is kind of the same thing mainstream now. Like,
Yeah.
the little babies and the artists like that. He's rapping, but he's melodic, and it's like
Yeah.
so. But yeah, as far as Jelly, like the success that he's having is great. It's
Right.
amazing to see, and things are different. Of course, they're different. But, like,
Absolutely.
It,
People change, music change,
as
evolves.
things, yeah, you have. That's just kind of what it is. You know what I'm
100.
saying? And
100%.
I'm excited about the new, his new album dropping. But yeah, salute to Jelly, man. There's a lot that Jelly does for me indirectly that he doesn't even know he's doing.
Oh yeah.
Just by being
Associated.
my bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been able to get certain like interviews, or like, I'll just say it, bro. Project Pat interview.
Yeah.
I got that because of my relationship with Jelly in country.
There you go. Yeah.
Shout out to country. Shout out to Jelly. But when Pat found out that it was that I'm Jelly and Country's people, he was like, whatever y'all, you know what I mean? Like, because that's just a bond that he's built with Pat years ago.
Right.
And so, like, Jelly didn't even know he did that.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, Jelly didn't know.
Yeah.
Jelly saw that I got it. It's like, hell, that's dope. But you know what I'm saying? But like,
just
Country put
because-
that together for me. But a lot of that was because of, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
Word
all
of mouth, or because he
it's
knows.
just because of the relationships built.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'll always be thankful and grateful for whatever, because
for sure.
it's all part of the story, bro. I'm part of his story just like he's part of mine.
And at one point, when Jelly was low, you were there for him. And then,
Right.
and then,
I've
so
talked to him about back in the day, bro, when I was going through some shit. I talked to him about it, and he talked me
Right.
through shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ever locked up or nothing, but like we were that's just how it was.
Life.
You know what I'm saying?
Life. And I feel like a lot of times friendships like that, you never know. That's why, man, if you don't have to burn a bridge, this is my personal opinion. Sometimes you got to, but if you don't have to burn a bridge, man, try to be cool with everybody because you never know who's going to have your back when it comes back around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if the bridges that you burn, man, you may need to catch you when you're falling, when you're on the way back down.
That's a line.
And
right
I've
there.
always been the type to be. I'm always about positive energy, bro. I don't associate with negativity. I don't have time for it, man. I've got enough going on in my life. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I don't want to waste the time that I'm here on negative situations. Like,
Absolutely.
so it's like I'm all about positivity, man.
That's awesome.
But like towards 2012, bro. Well, 2010, 11, I started getting into like drugs. I messed my back up at work. I started taking pain pills.
Oh man.
I was prescribed pain pills. I had to keep working, so I kept taking them.
Right.
Then I found out what a Xanax was, not a bar. I wasn't that like hardcore with it.
Yeah.
But I got prescribed Xanax because I started having like anxiety issues,
Sure.
and a lot of that was probably just because I was taking pain, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't, as much as I hate saying this, 2011 and 12, there's not a lot about those 2 years that's not documented on video that I remember. Just because I was just always
Messed up.
in a zone, bro.
Yeah.
And I never got any kind of DUIs. I never wrecked. I never did anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I
Thank
was
God.
because I was starting to feel like I was getting burnt out. Because at this point, we're like 10 years in with me doing the music. 2012 comes around, I'm like at a breaking point. And it's nothing anybody did to me. I was doing it to myself.
Sure,
I was on drugs. I was drinking. There'd be nights I'd go to the Rutledge, and the Rutledge was not close to my house. Right, like 50 minutes from the Rutledge, right?
Yeah.
It's 4th Avenue. I live in like Springfield.
Right. Yeah.
So like I'm driving at like 1:30 in the morning, dude. Have no business driving. Wasn't completely fucked up to the point, but like I'm like, what? I was doing that twice a week because we Friday night, Saturday night, we would do shows at the Rutledge.
Right.
And I was like, man, what am I doing? And I got burnt out, bro. And then I quit social media. I quit music in 2012 and deleted all my stuff. I was on one, bro. Like, and nobody understood. It was some other stuff that happened that kept me away. That it's whatever. But like, I was just burnt out, bro. The majority of the reason was I was burnt out, and I started a different YouTube channel talking about like movies and wrestling, which I still talk about now. But just so I could have some kind of outlet. Sure. I would wake up, take my medicine, go to work for 8 to 10 hours Monday through Friday, come home, and it's like I gave up on music. I gave up on, and I was burnt out, dude. And one day, my buddy, shout out to one of my closest friends in the world, Chance Richardson. He's the one that Revolution One. He does all my marketing. He's the one that shoots the Over the Top podcast with me and my boy Tony.
Okay.
One of my closest friends since 2008.
Nice. Yeah.
He found my other YouTube and was like, man, I just want you to know I love your content. I don't know what you got going on, but I always support you. I'd love to see you get back into music. And him and my boy Brandon E. both were like that. Everybody would check in on me, but I just wouldn't respond to people.
Yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with me, bro. I was just in a different space.
Right.
But
People go through seasons, man.
it was like 2 years, June of 2012 to June of 2014. And then I came back in 2014 and I was like, what had happened is I was on the way home one night, had no business driving again, fell asleep, and almost ran off a road close to my house where there was a ravine that if I would have run off in that ravine, it was a wrap.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And I woke up enough to swerve over, and I just sat in my car, bro, and I just cried. When I got home, I was like, what am I doing, bro? What have I done for these last 2 years?
Wow, man.
And
I was going to ask you, was there a point?
And that was it. And then, like, I was like, it's like I had like a self-evaluation. I was like, bro, you're fucking bullshitting, bro. You just fucked up all this momentum you had. And then I started beating myself up over it. But then I started thinking, well, I needed to do that. That was the higher power's way of saying slow down. You're and if I wouldn't have slowed down, I wouldn't have met a lot of the people that I know now. I wouldn't have met Mel, who's like my heart, you know.
Shout out, Mel.
Like she's made me such a better person in all different ways. I would have never met her. The route that I was going, I would have died. I would have wrecked my car. I was just on that trajectory, bro.
Sure.
And I wasn't out of control where I wasn't professional or nothing like that, but for me, I knew there was a problem there.
Yeah.
And
that's the first, like,
yeah,
time. If you could actually admit there's something wrong, that's like a big deal.
And there's
when
and
you're
to me,
in that
yeah,
space.
and people a lot of times are ashamed of that, and I hate that people feel like they have to be ashamed of that stuff, because everybody out here's got something going on, man. Everybody's got a vice, and it may not be drugs or alcohol. It may be gambling. It may be cheating. It may be eating. It may be whatever.
You're right.
Everybody's got something, because nobody out here is perfect. So, like, I don't know. Like, I felt that, and when I came back in like July of 14, I was like, man, I'm just gonna be. It's like I had a rebirth of myself. Like, I was like, I'm gonna be positive, nothing but positivity, no complaining, work hard, get back on this music shit, and because I fucked up for 2 years, bro, and all the momentum we had, it just went like this.
Yeah.
Other than the people that were still doing it, theirs went up like this.
Right.
Because I came back, and I started working on stuff and dropped some projects, and I dropped a project in I want to say 20. Well, I dropped Fatboy Swag 3 when I came back, but it was all songs that were recorded before I quit. And then I dropped Happy Days, which was like my first album back, and it's a little rusty, but it's got a lot of cool songs on it. That was 2017, and then like I said, I did a trilogy with Fatboy Swag, so I was like, let me do a Baker's Dozen trilogy. I was at work one day at Best Buy, and I was like, man, if I do songs with just 13 or albums with 13 songs on them, let me do 3 of them. We'll call it Baker's Dozen.
Yeah.
Baker's Dozen's 13.
Right.
So that's when I started
cool.
getting back in the groove. I was starting like, man, I'm back. This is 2018, and then it kind of leads us up to where we're at now. I dropped a couple albums after that, which I think we talked about, but.
Well, I was going to ask you really quick in this, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but this could be important, very important, which it is. If there's anybody out there who's watching this who they went through years and they just can't kick it. Mm-hmm. They just can't, and they know they're going downward, and they just can't get off of whatever it is, opiates or anything like that, or something that's ruined their life. Mm-hmm. What is there anything that you could say that you can lead them to a wake up call? Like, or is there any advice?
If you're blessed enough to have just one person in your life that cares enough about you, go to those people. Ask for help if you feel like you can't do it yourself. I don't mean financially. I mean, don't be afraid to talk to somebody.
Right.
Because a lot of times people are depressed and are self-medicating, and most of the time you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You don't even know that they're bad off. Because a lot of people didn't know I was like that.
Right.
Until I just spontaneously combusted emotionally and just fell off the face of the earth for 2 years. And everybody's like, where's Chad? He's been everywhere for 10 years and now he's nowhere.
Yeah. But your closest friends,
but they even tried to reach out, and a lot of them, I talk to every now and then, but like I even pushed them back because I was like, I don't know, bro, I was just in a different headspace. But like, that's what I would say it's easy for somebody to tell you, just quit it. Just quit. You can quit.
But unless it's ever happened to them, they don't understand.
If it was that easy, people would do it more.
Right.
And obviously, some people don't want to quit because it feels good.
Sure.
Whether you're doing whatever it is you're doing, whether you're eating too much or you're drinking too much or you're taking pills or doing drugs or whatever it is you're doing, it's easy to say, well, just stop doing it. But if it's something that you are addicted to doing, it's not that easy to just say, okay, I don't want it.
Right.
I never thought of that. I never thought I could just stop.
Right.
But like, don't be afraid to let somebody know. Don't feel too ashamed. And try to find something to occupy the time. If you do get clean, from whatever it is, you have to find something to occupy that time. Because if you're used to taking pills, pain pills or whatever, and you finally wean yourself off of them, well, all that time that you spent getting high on pain pills, now you have to substitute that with something totally different.
Right.
Whether it's a
right.
hobby, another job, family, something.
Which is one reason why people become workaholics.
For sure.
But that's way better than becoming.
No, for
drug
sure.
addict.
Exactly. Like, that's what I would say, because that's what I had to do.
Sure.
You know, because whenever I came back, I stopped doing all that stuff too. Because it was all part of that wake up call for me.
That's awesome, dude.
And
That's
that was
so
tough.
That's so. I mean, dude. I mean, there's countless people, and I mean, I love hearing this kind of stuff right here because all the music stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, and I love music to the core. But stuff like this could potentially save somebody's life.
No, man, for sure.
Impact somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could say, because some people, they probably look at other people who are where they at now, and they're like, they've always had it made. They're perfect, and they've never done anything wrong. But no, I mean, everybody has struggles.
Everybody.
People don't know this about me. I'll drop this. I've never said this anywhere.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, this
No,
is
go
your
ahead.
interview, but
No, go ahead.
I'll be really quick about it.
Yeah.
Around the time you're talking about, which mom was a little earlier, like 2007. Mm-hmm. But around the time you're talking about was the big opioid crisis. And I've never really taken a pill that I wasn't prescribed. Like I'm pretty straight guy.
Yeah.
And I don't. And if you listen to my songs, I don't even rap about anything like drugs or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Because it's not part of my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to ever rap about something that's not part of my life. But in 2007, I had a tooth issue, and it was around the time that they were trying to extend people's insurance, like if they were still on their parents' insurance.
Yep.
And I was like 19 years old, and so I didn't have my own insurance. Good job yet with insurance. So or I'd gotten laid off or something like that. I can't remember. But so I had a tooth issue, right? And the dentist was trying to decide whether he was going to throw me on my mom's insurance because she's a school teacher. And he was going to throw me on my mom's insurance, pull the tooth, or get a root canal or whatever, right? So during this decision, which should be a 1 week decision at most, he gave me a bottle of 90 Hydro 7.5s.
Oh yeah, bro.
A bottle, 90.
Yep.
And so I'm just like, I mean, the Hydros probably
In
cost more.
2007, bro. When I worked at Lowe's Millwork,
You worked at Lowe's? I worked at Tool World and Inside Garden for a while.
I worked
Go
at
ahead.
Lowe's Millwork in White House, and from 2007, that's when I got hurt my back and I got prescribed pain pills. The amount of pain pills flowing through that,
Oh, God.
it was
Really?
alarming, dog. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
And it was so
Yeah.
easy. They were giving it out. I'll tell you that, like, when I first started taking them, I was getting prescribed Lortab, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would take them, and I would be like, oh my God, my back doesn't hurt. I've got energy. This is awesome. But when I would come off of a Lortab, I would be like, it was I hated the way I felt coming off. Like, I was like angry.
Oh, yeah.
And so
That's
I immediately went back to the doctor and I said, I don't like the way these do. Can I get something different? And she looked at me like she saw a ghost. She was like, no one ever asked to bring these back.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, this is when I first started taking them. I was like, I'm not trying to get messed up on them. I just want to.
Right.
And she prescribed me something else, but it wasn't 6 months later that I started taking tabs again.
Right, yeah.
Once
But
I
how
realized
weird
it-
is that, though, that she's like, nobody ever...
Because that's what it was. Back then,
Why would they not say there's
they just
something
want to
wrong?
prescribe. They just want to prescribe pills, and
That's
they
messed
probably
up.
get some kind of kickback. It has to be a money thing.
Got it, yeah. So he gave me, like you said, he gave me a bottle of 90.
Yep.
And then I was like, I mean, I'm a 19-year-old kid, and my mom and dad, they do everything. They did everything. I mean, I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
But they did everything in their power to, watch me with everything I've done. But they didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't become a problem, but it could have.
No, for sure.
Yeah, but like, so I started taking them or whatever, and I had, actually, we played a show. There's a place called The Muse. In
I used to do shows.
You remember that? Yeah, you remember The Muse?
Yeah.
So like we played at The Muse. This was like 2006, 2007. I was in a metal band, and my tooth was banging, dude. So I popped one too many. You know what I'm saying? And dude, I remember falling over in the middle of the show, and that kind of got me feeling weird because I was like, I'm not that kind of person at all.
Yeah.
And I used to look at people like that, which is totally wrong. Should never do that. But I used to look at people like that. I'm like, man, they need to get it under control. And then that was me standing up there. I fell over on the drum set.
Yeah.
And so I realized, like, dude, this could happen to anybody.
No, I definitely can, man. Because I was the furthest thing from anything like that prior to 2007.
Yeah.
And then once they got their hooks in me with them those lower tab 10s, bro, that was and it was Tramadol,
Yeah.
and then of course Xanax. But yeah, like, yeah, man, nobody's is perfect. So everybody's got something that they struggle with.
Yeah.
But like, that'd be my advice though, to find somebody that cares about you and don't be afraid to ask for help if you don't feel like you can do it yourself.
Your closest people, your family, because they really do care. And man, if heaven forbid, if something happened, ain't no telling how many lives you would have never impacted with your music, your interviews, dude. I look up to you.
I appreciate
100%.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine not knowing who Chad Arms is and watching his interviews with Upchurch and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I couldn't imagine it. So anybody out there, just like Chad said, you never know who you're going to impact and what you mean to people. So man, you are worth. I know drugs probably make you feel one way or whatever, maybe it's an underlying depression, whatever it is. But you're worth so much to people. You don't even know. You don't even know how much potential you have to the rest of the human race.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And to tie that in, so like, fast forward to last year when we dropped Dedicated, my favorite album to date, 12 songs, all solo songs, Anxiety. That was about, because you spoke about anxiety.
Yeah, I love that
you
song.
love that song.
Yeah.
One of my it's my most viewed video. It's over 400,000 views on YouTube now. Thank you for
wow.
that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But
that shows a relation. People,
yeah, man.
Yeah, people need that.
That song. Sometimes artists will know. Well, you're an artist too. Like when you there's sometimes when you're going through beats, and a beat comes on that you hear and it speaks to you. That's what the Anxiety track spoke to me. And I wrote those two verses so easily, and those are two of my favorite. The second verse on Anxiety especially. But like that was all talking about having anxiety, depression, addiction. It was all tied in.
Oh yeah.
And I just say that just because we're talking about that stuff. But like that, I've had a lot of people that have hit me up saying that song really has helped them.
That's awesome.
Especially that song, Let Me Drown, which is a song I did. It's about Mel's life and the way I feel about her. And her daughter was in the video. Like that one's almost at like 300,000. That's a similar. That's not about anxiety or nothing, but that's just about anybody that feels like they were told that they weren't good enough.
Yeah. Right.
Like those two songs, Listen to Your Heart, which is an older one I did. Those songs, it's not every day. People hit me up about those. And that's the kind of stuff that I've lived for as an artist. It'd be awesome to sell 1 million records and do 10 million streams a month, and Lord willing, that may happen down the road.
It's coming, maybe, man.
But like when you get those kind of inboxes or those messages, or when we're out at shows and people come up to me and say stuff like that, shit hits so different than like seeing 1 million views on something.
Right, just money or whatever.
Because you look at the numbers on a screen, but you don't know of those numbers who they are.
Oh man.
And then when you see somebody out and they're like, man, you really did save me with this song. I was in a bad place. I would listen to this song. It would get me through it. And as an artist, you're like, bro, you can't ask for something better than that. I mean, you can say money's money.
Right.
Money goes away, and you just make more of it.
Yeah.
Like
right.
you can't. When somebody does that, when you positively affect somebody's life or keep somebody from doing something to themselves or something, you don't. When you're an artist and you're writing songs, like at least for me, I don't write a song and I write a song hoping that it affects people in that way if it's that type of song. But you don't ever really know,
right?
Right. But yeah, man,
you're exactly right, man, and that's so good. Mm-hmm. That is so good. And I've had that happen a couple times to me, and one of them was a video I shot, and the other one was like a song or whatever. But dude, yes, that and until it happens, like you never really thought about it like that, because you're just putting your life online, but it turns into therapy, anxiety.
Yeah,
I mean that anxiety song might have helped more people than a therapist ever could.
Yeah, I mean you just never know. Man. Beautiful was another one I did when I came back in 2016. It was about the song is a story about a woman a girl that was abused as a child, and then like throughout the song, she was never told she was beautiful. She has, and it's just like her struggling with that. That one had a lot of momentum at that time, because of the the subject matter in it.
Sure.
And I got a lot of messages about that back at the time because it kind of went semi-viral on Facebook back in like 2016. It did a few 100,000 views.
Nice.
And got shared a bunch, in some groups, and that was cool to see that. And that was just something another one of those that's when I first came back. But
That's great.
But yeah.
But guys, y'all and thank you so much, Chad, for
man,
going through. I know it's not easy to talk about, man.
it's not, but it is. I'm glad that I get to talk about it because if it can help anybody else,
Absolutely.
if it helps one person that watches it, then dope. Why not tell it?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
I'm not ashamed of it because it's made me who I am, And without that happening, I really do think that was the Lord saying, like, slow down, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down. Slow down. Sit down over here for a little bit. Figure stuff out. And then, because, like,
Get your
everything happens
attention.
for a reason, bro. And
Yeah.
for whatever, a lot of the times we don't know why or for what reason until way later.
Yeah.
But I just appreciate you for letting me share my stories, man. I know we talked about a little bit of everything, but with it being my first interview, I wanted to make sure that the people got an understanding of not only who I am, but like maybe some of the stuff that I've done that they didn't know about. And if anything that we talked about could help somebody, then awesome,
I'm so excited that we're getting the full story.
No, man, for sure.
Yeah, like
You
where
definitely did.
you've been.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah, because man, it's such a cool. It's so cool because you do put so much stuff online, but people don't know a lot of this stuff.
No, because the majority of stuff we put out online is like me filming other people or like
Right.
music stuff. So it's like I don't, it's cool to be able to be on this side of the camera and talk about it to where kind of gives people an insight on where I've been and what I've done and things like that.
And not a lot of people ask you that, and so I'm so excited for this to drop, dude.
Yeah, man. Thank you again, bro.
I'm so excited.
Appreciate you having us out. And
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you doing your thing, man, and getting the blessings that you're getting. It's because of your character, dog, and you work hard, and that's what. Me and you are similar in a lot of ways, and
I think we are, man.
And I think that you're going to continue to get those kind of blessings as long as you just keep being, and you're going to keep being because it's who you are. Just like it's just how I've always been. It's just who I am.
I love life, man, and I'm a simple person, man. I really am, and I just want to make my family proud and my wife proud, and that's where it begins. That's where it ends. I just want to do something special, lead people to good or to God, either one, both. I just thought of something, bro. We got to come out with a song. I got it. I got the song.
You got the song.
Cal Norton and Ricky Bobby. Shake and bake.
dude.
Shake and bake. No, I'm
Shake
kidding.
and bake, man.
Okay, but thank you so much for sharing that story,
bro.
man. That's guys, if anybody watches this and it helps you out, guys, just if you can leave a comment and just thank you so much. Either one of us, or if you need somebody to reach out and talk to you, leave a comment and me, Chad, somebody, we'll shoot you a message or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Give you some encouragement.
For
Absolutely.
sure. And to anybody that's watching, anybody that's been a part of my story along the way, and I failed to mention you, I'm sorry, it was not intentional. There's a lot to unpack, and I love everybody, man. I hope everybody does great in life and keeps pushing. I'm super proud of Jelly. I'm super proud of Church, bro.
Yeah.
I met Ryan Upchurch. 2015 was my first interview I did with him.
Really?
That I got when I had a podcast called the Chad Arms Show, and Johnny Cashville. Salute to Johnny for this one. Johnny Cashville brought Church to that show. That was back when they were doing something.
Imagine
when
right.
Cheatham County EP came out.
Yeah.
Right. That's when that happened. I interviewed Ryan then, bro. The quality's terrible, but you can get on YouTube in 2015 and you can see 2015 Church was like 24,
Yeah,
23.
that was the beginning.
There was when the first EP dropped, right?
Right.
I'm super proud to see what Ryan's been able to do in the last, you know what I'm saying,
Incredible,
8 years.
man.
In 8 years, that kid, and he's not a kid, you know what I mean, Church, I love you, dog. You're just younger than me. that dude has been able to do so much in 8 years, bro, and he does it the fucking way he wants to do it.
Oh yeah, and that's it's crazy. It's crazy to see because I mean, like, I'm a numbers guy, right? I used to trade a lot of stocks and do stuff like that or whatever. If you get on YouTube, bro, and you look at subscriber numbers or like million views numbers on songs, you'll look at Upchurch's stuff and you're like, this dude has more subs than Morgan Wallen. Mm-hmm. This dude has more subs than like Kid Rock. Mm-hmm. This dude has an underground. He calls it Creek Squad.
Yeah,
he has an underground cult following. I won't say cult following. That leads a derogatory condemnation, but no. So he has an underground following of supporters that is just unfreaking believable, man.
Yeah, man.
And that in itself, to me, you have to be a special person to do that, man. And
to be able to do all that Church has done, the way that Church has done it. I mean, dude's a machine, bro. He's a machine when it comes to music.
Such a great guy to me too, man.
Super down to earth.
Yeah.
Would give you the shirt off his back. Like, has done so much for me. Like, so much for me. That like, just like with Jelly, same thing, bro. Just in different ways. Like with Church, that interview back then when he first started, Church didn't forget that interview. Yeah. And it didn't propel his career or nothing. He was already popping then.
Yeah,
it helped me out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like, he knew I was a cool dude back then, and like, so like 5 or 6 years down the road, and we had ran into each other in passing and said, "What's up?" 5 or 6 years down the road, 2021, he randomly tagged me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, bro, I like these interviews you're doing," because he saw the one I did with DJ O-Rig.
Yeah.
DJ O-Rig. And he was like, "Man, you want to come out to my house and interview me?" I was like, "Whoa." Me and Mel were sitting barbecued eating lunch, bro. And she was like, "I think Upchurch just tagged you in his story." And I was like, "What?" So, like, that's how that happened. Me and Squints and Mel went down there, shot that interview with him. And, like, we've shot an interview with him since. Salute to Leroy Biggs. Absolutely. Me and Mel went out there and shot that interview with him and Leroy. And then Church just randomly, I said one day I said, "Man, I'd love to do music with you, Ryan, sometime." He's like, "Man, I'm busy, but we'll see if we can make it happen." And I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks later, he video messaged me and was like, "Hey, man, I got some free time. If you want to go find a studio, we'll do some music." I was like, "What?" Yeah. Let's go. So we made it happen, and that dude came. I got to say that I know I veered into Church, but it ties in with Jelly because they're all people that I got relationships with. Church came with B Loose and with his security guard, and they came to a studio they had never been to in a spot they're not familiar with.
Right.
And stayed for 6 hours, bro.
Wow.
And just to cut music, bro. We cut Live Forever. We cut Work with me, him, and One. And then we got another one that's going to be dropping on me and One's next project that Church did the hook for.
Shout out One.
Yeah, shout out to O&E. So he did that, bro. And he was like, "Bro, these are just for you. You just have whatever you want to do with them, bro."
That's so awesome,
like, "What?"
man.
He was like, "Yeah, man, I just want to help you out, bro." I said, "You've been grinding, you've been killing the game. You've been doing so much for people over the years. You know what I'm saying? Helping people out. I just want to help you out, bro." I was like, "Man, thank you so much, dog." Like, he didn't have to do that.
No.
Like, this was not a convenient thing. Like, it was a spot he didn't know. He didn't know who was going to be at the studio.
Right.
He just showed up, bro. Like, and
Church, man, if you're watching this, Church, dude, Chad Arms, and I feel like I'm kind of in the same shoes as him. And obviously he is a legend. But in the fact that I woke up one morning, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and people were just ding, 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 dinging my phone on YouTube. And I woke up, and I mean, I got 2,500 subscribers, I mean.
Yeah, man.
I am not helping Upchurch out by doing a video for him necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to do nothing but just, there was nothing in it for him is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Upchurch, if you're watching this, bro, I just want to say, man, I feel like the same thing kind of happened to me, man, with the interview and stuff. I woke up one morning 3 weeks ago, man, and people were just dinging my phone, And he posted a video shouting out, "Yo, yeah, Southwind, man. I just, if you want to come over and do an interview, and,
Yeah,
you know,
bro.
just so casual. And man, I don't help him out. I got 2,500 subscribers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like the fact that he is I feel like that he has no regard for like if you have that person's going to benefit me, which is what most of us do. I mean, most of us. You know, when somebody hits us up, hey, we're going to look at their subscriber count or whatever. Church does not care. He don't care, man. I feel like he doesn't care.
He's supposed to help people, bro.
Exactly, in a great and wholesome way, bro. Because it's what is it going to benefit him from getting 2,500 subscribers? The dude,
Yeah, just like he did for me. The same shit with the interviews and with the songs, bro.
right?
Like
Exactly.
it literally didn't benefit him to the point where he said, "I do not want you to give me anything for this."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Are you sure?"
that's crazy.
He's like,
man.
"No, bro. It's just for you." Like that's real shit, bro.
Exactly.
Just like
Big artists like on that level, they don't do that.
they don't have to do that. No, man.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't have to do it. And I've never seen one with 3 million subs who's gonna
Well, and not only that too, like
crazy.
relating it back to just to put a bow on like the Jelly stuff. Like Jelly's been on Joey Diaz's podcast, Theo Von's podcast,
Yeah,
multiple ones, and shouted my name out about the freestyle. Like Jelly didn't have to do that. He could have just said my homeboy shot it. Like he made it a point because he knows that I love podcasts and I watch them, but he didn't have to do that.
no.
But like that was just like with Church didn't have to do that for us. Jelly didn't have to do that for me. Like,
But he's real.
but that's
Doesn't
real, that's
matter.
real as fuck to me. Like,
Exactly. It doesn't matter if Chad has 50 songs or 80 songs, or it doesn't matter. They were buddies. They were friends a long time ago, and that's his friend. I see the same realness in both those dudes. And
for sure.
and so like that's that. And I was about to say it a while ago. I was about to say, was you aware that he was on? I can't remember which one it was. It was a huge podcast, and I was just watching clips, and he was talking about Chad Arms, and I was like, that's so.
Yeah, bro.
dope,
He's done it
man.
like 4 different ones. I know it
Yeah.
was Joey Diaz and it was Theo Von was the 2 big ones, but there were 2 other ones too. Salute to Jelly, salute to Church for sure.
Man, I
2 legends right there, dog.
2 legends, bro. And I mean, it was just kind of surreal, you know. But then whenever I got to Church's house, he's just so down to earth that we just hung out, man. We just filmed us hanging out pretty much, just like me and Chad are doing.
Yeah.
Chad's a great dude too. So, all right, another artist, man, that was having a bit of success was your good friend Worm.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to be very. I don't want to get personal, but I want to get personal with the good stuff, the stuff that we need to know about, because through us, I feel like our friends or our family or whatever, I feel like they live through us.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Worm? Rest in peace, Worm.
Yeah.
And just kind of how he got started, or how y'all became friends, or something like that. Just real quick.
So I met Worm back in 2009, like on the Real Worm Volume 1 on Channel TV, the first Worm video. I met him that day. That it was like January of 2009. Right. Shot that content. I heard him rap. I was like, dude, can rap his ass off. So then we just started linking up more on content. Started doing songs together. That's where you get like Sideshow Bob that me and Worm and Squints did. Cold Cash with me, him, and Jelly and Tone. Go Back with me, him, and Jelly. Like we did a bunch of songs back in that time frame. We were all just recording a bunch of songs.
Right.
Then Worm was repping Show and Prove with us because I started Show and Prove in 06, met Squints in 07, and then we was just all Show and Prove. It's been Show and Prove since 2006. So Worm started doing shows with us, doing music back in the day. We were just all camp, and we were just all squad. And then Worm went to jail for I want to say 4 or 5 years. And me and him didn't talk much before that because I remember I had taken that 2-year time frame off from everybody from 2012 to 2014. I want to say he got locked up in 15 or 16. When he got out in 2021, he messaged me, and of course I had told him, so glad you're home, whatever. He had messaged me and said, me and Lex was wanting to know if you want to get the band back together, basically to come shoot some footage.
Lex Luthor or what?
Oh no, Lex Top Dollar.
Oh,
shout
Top
Lex.
Dollar,
Yeah. So, and keep in mind, I had been laid off. I got laid off at my job like 3 months before that. This was during COVID.
Oh yeah.
Or
man.
well, a year after COVID, we were still in COVID. You know. This was February.
Rest in peace, COVID. Never come back.
I got laid off. Well, April of 21, late March of 21. Him and Lex were like, "Do you want to come film some footage?" I was like, yeah. So I just filmed one of the videos, the first one back or whatever. And then, well, from where I had gotten laid off of my job 2 months prior, we just started going over there and recording content.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had a lot that he was looking. He had a lot that was going on.
Sure.
As far as like legally, like he was still wondering if he was going to stay out, if he's going to have to go back in. So we were just trying to cut some music for him. The video started taking off. He started doing. He did a few. I think he did like one feature. I know he did one for Joe Marley. Then he started working on his own music. Me and him did a song called Origami that's out, and then he recorded another song.
That's cool.
That never came out. And then he started getting real sick. And then he passed away, and it just.
Oh man!
It just he was right. He was right there, dog. He was right there.
Yeah. I stumbled across his stuff around this time, and there was a guy who I know in this area who's like kind of a countryist guy, but he's a little bit of a rapper too. And he was talking about, yeah, man, I have a feature. I think I'm going to do a feature with this Worm guy. I'm like, cool. So I started checking him out too. And right around this time, man, I remember the post because I followed you for a while, even on Facebook. And I remember the post about what happened or whatever, and I was just like, man, that's just. It's just one of them things, man, and I don't want to, dwell on it, but it's just one of them things, man, where I feel like he's looking down, and I just wanted to give him special recognition too. Because,
I hope so, bro. We make sure to honor him on every video that's on Chat Arms TV.
Yes, the intro, right?
Well, we had the intro, but because YouTube started getting to where we couldn't curse in the first 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
We had to change the audio on the intro, but we still put his picture at the end of every video. His pictures on the set of the podcast, we shout him out on. We always will. I mean, he's always part of, because he's a huge part of Chat Arms TV from the insurgent, from when it started.
Right.
And I'll always do that.
Absolutely.
For him.
And that speaks for your character too, bro. 100%.
I love him. I miss him. I hope he's looking down. I hope he's proud of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And
oh, for sure, dude.
R.P. Wizzle, man, for sure.
For sure, he's writing rhymes right now, waiting for you to get up there, dog. Let's hope he has to write a whole lot. No, I mean, let's not go there. But okay, so all right, man. Let's talk about your buddy, my buddy. Actually, he's one I've never met. He is one I've always wanted to meet, and I played in a band, and back in 2017, 2018, around the time we first, I was in a band we opened up for Upchurch way back then, a long time ago, and so like, we were supposed to open up for Adam as well, but the show got canceled in, I think it was Indiana. The show got canceled.
He was sick, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The day after, it was the day after Tailgates and Tall Boys.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
We were at Tailgates, and he was sick as a dog. We talked to him briefly, but...
Oh, no. That too. I was up there filming for that too.
Oh, you're talking about this is a separate time?
This is way before. There was a venue owner who got... Okay. But yeah, that was another time I was in Indiana at that show too, and it's almost like every time I almost get to meet Adam, it's almost like damn, something happens, Yeah. But like that was another time I was filming for Marcotic. Shout out Marcotic. I was filming for him,
for sure.
And there was a show in 2017 where a venue owner got diagnosed with cancer, and so she canceled her shows because she only had a short time, and so he was one of the headliners.
Okay.
And so like there's numerous times I haven't got to meet Adam. I've been wanting to meet Adam. Tell me a little bit about Adam Calhoun, y'all's friendship, and he was on the he did the interview, right?
It's probably my favorite. I got a lot of ones that I love, but I think the Adam Calhoun, as far as
smart dude, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite interviews. So salute to Adam. That's definitely my dog. So I met Adam. I've been following Adam for a few years. I met Adam at Tailgates and Tall Boys, 2021. Me and Mel went up there because Leroy was performing.
Yeah, Leroy. Shout out Leroy.
Yeah, shout out to Leroy. So we went up there because Leroy was performing. Well, Leroy knew Adam already. Jelly knew Adam. Well, Adam came up to me and shook my hand and said, "What's up?" He had seen my video, one of the Worm videos. I can't remember which one. Some stuff that I was doing for Worm, and so he had knew about me through that. So we just chopped it up on Jelly's tour bus that night, and everybody was chilling, having a good time, and we kind of kept in contact. And we had always planned on, once I started ramping up the interviews, we had planned on doing Adam's interview, right? Well, it was just a timing thing. So when they did the country rap tour, I had linked up with Adam and with Broadnax and with Demon and with Dusty after one of their shows on the first leg of their tour, right?
What a lineup.
Shot like a 25-minute interview with all four of them at the same time, right?
Oh, wow.
It was dope, man. It was dope. But the audio was fucked up because in the next room the DJ was still spinning music.
Right.
So I couldn't use the audio. We tried to. So the interview.
Oh, dude, it's
So like,
real quick, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I have an interview with Little White out there that I released anyway. I'm like, screw it, I'm releasing it anyway. And the air conditioning was going and generator was going in the camper. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, go ahead.
So it was one of those situations. So it was just a timing thing. So in between the first and second leg of the tour, Adam was like, hey man, I got a few weeks of downtime. Why don't y'all want to come up here? So me and Mel said, of course. We went up there, and Adam was super cool, bro. He took us out to eat at this Mexican spot down the road from his house.
Oh, nice.
He let us tour. I mean, you see the videos. Like he let us tour the property. He was telling us about like stories. We got a 2-hour interview with him. He took us around places he grew up in Illinois. Told his story. And me and him have been super cool since. He's a really good dude, man. Hardworking dude. Stand-up dude, family guy, like family man, like, you know, stands on morals, and I have nothing bad to say about Adam Calhoun, dude. He's a good friend of mine, and that interview was awesome. You know, that being able to hear him talk, you know, about stuff that he hasn't really talked about on the internet.
Right.
You know, just past stuff growing up, and since then he's been on the I Guess I Should Say podcast. He was on episode 150. It's our highest viewed episode now, so salute to Adam for that. But I look forward to seeing what comes next with Adam. I'm excited about seeing his podcast. I'm excited about the new music dropping. But
awesome.
That's the Adam situation. And with Broadnax, I met Broadnax through Adam.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Adam, I was supposed to do Adam's interview, and he had to leave because his wife went into labor.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, man, I got to go. I'm sorry, man, but you can John's still at the studio if you want to go interview John. So that's how I met Broadnax. It was about 2 years ago. And me and Broadnax are super close too. Like, we're about to probably link up again and do more. We went to Louisiana twice and shot multiple interviews with him. And he is, not only is he one of the dopest rappers I know, like,
absolutely.
he is another one that is just stand-up dude. Super, super, super cool. Family man, stands on morals, like just a good ass dude, bro. Super talented.
Just one of those people, man, where, you know, I feel like there's a lot of wisdom.
Much, dude.
With Chad Arms and Adam Calhoun and Broadnax in the same room, there's a lot of wisdom there, man. Yeah. And so that's the kind of people I want to learn from, first of all. But like just being around somebody like that. Now Adam, he seems like that controversy follows him, but like I get so much Upchurch vibes from Adam because like he just seems like one of those guys that if you're just hanging out with him, you know, whatever. And Jelly Roll said something about this a while back. He said there's a lot of guys out there like I don't want to mention many names on any side, but like, you know, Adam, and then there's other people on the other side, and they're upset and they're at each other's throats. He said, but he said I know all of them separately, and he said they're all great dudes.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, maybe at some time everybody can come together, you know. But I mean, Adam just seems like one of those guys, like you just said, man. Yeah. He is just like I get Upchurch vibes from Adam. He's just who he is, and it doesn't matter if he's got $20 million or $500. He's going to hang out with you. He's going to be cool to you, take you out to a Mexican restaurant, and I mean, just him coming, inviting you up, and then, hey man, you want to do this? That's like Upchurch. Hey man, you want to come over to an interview?
Yeah, bro.
Upchurch hired me the other day. Hey man, you want to come over? Hey man, I got a hatchet. You want me to do this? He thanked me. Upchurch thanked me for coming over.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
yeah, bro.
Thank you, bro.
At the core, all these dudes are for the most part are just like they're just like everybody else, man. They've just grinded and worked to the point where they're really taking stuff off with their craft, you know, and it doesn't change who they are as far as like men, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I appreciate all of them for working with me. You know, with it's Chad Arms TV. They've both been on all of those that I just named. Well, except Church. We got to get Church on the podcast. Hopefully that happens soon.
Oh yeah.
All of them have been instrumental in the building of Chad Arms TV. And like, I guess we kind of segue into that. Like since I've been back, you know, we started doing the podcast in July of 21. We're coming up on episode 200. Which is going to be a live episode. This is what we're excited about. We're doing it live in front of a studio audience.
Wow.
But
that's cool. How does that?
We're gonna sell tickets to it, and we're gonna film it live. We're not gonna live stream the episode. We're gonna film it live, and then you know.
That's cool.
But with the podcast growing like it's growing, with us, you know, Show Improve, you know, trying to stay as consistent as we can with the music. You know, with myself, with O&E dropping projects, myself dropping projects, with Leroy dropping projects. Shout out to Twack. We just got Twack on board with Show Improve Entertainment.
Twack.
And he's a beast. He's been around since the early days of like with Jelly and all that. And
there you go.
So like we're just continuing to work, man. I'm working on the new project. I got the solo album Live Forever, which is the title track. You know, the Live Forever song me and Church did, right? I asked Church, I said, bro, I love that vibe of that record. Do you care if I name the album? And he goes, fuck no, bro. Name your album Live Forever.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah.
That's an epic name.
Yeah, that's the name of the album. But I'm also me and Leroy are working on our second project. You know, I met Leroy a couple months into February 21. I hit him about doing a feature for me. He did the feature. Me and him got cool. Me and Mel went and interviewed him right when he was one of the first people I actually interviewed. Like, the stuff I did with Worm was like just us filming random videos.
Right. But like a structure.
Leroy was like somewhat of a structure, I'll say, of like an interview because I didn't know what I was doing yet.
Oh, I thought you meant because Leroy's so wild.
Oh, no. We were just asking him questions. You know, he was telling random stories and shit.
Yeah.
But me and him have been, I mean, that's like my nephew. I mean,
that dude's an interview. Sorry to interrupt you. Leroy's an interviewer's dream. That dude comes up.
But that's, I mean, he's been part of Show Improve extended families since then, and always will be. So like, I try to just build relationships, bro, with people, and I try to just, you know what I mean? I just try to do as much as I can for somebody to help them out, as long as I know it's reciprocated, you know. Again, I don't deal with negativity. I just try to put out as much positive vibes in the world as I can, because I feel like when you're gone, what are you going to be remembered for?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to leave behind something dope where people can be like, look at this dude was such, or are you going to leave behind just a bunch of, you know, whatever? Like, I'd much rather do the first one. Like,
absolutely.
And everybody's different, bro. Everybody grows up different. Everybody's got different lifestyles and different things they stress about. That's just my perspective on things. You know what I'm saying? But like,
100%.
We're just gonna keep working, bro. Like, between the solo album, me and Leroy's dropping Bad Habits 2, collab project. Me and Warren's dropping Troy and Emmett, which is our second collab album. I'm working on a project with Legacy, who's super talented rapper. If nobody knows about him, you gotta be. Dude is a GOAT, bro. He is one of the best rappers
bar for bar
I've ever met, bro. Like, just from a lyrical standpoint. And he's my dog. And he's the one that edits, you know, Anxiety. He edited that video.
Oh, yeah?
He edits the majority of Chad Arms videos. He edits.
Oh, man, I love that song. I was about to say, that's one of my personal favorites, because in my early 20s, not a lot of people know this, but I had a bout with anxiety. And if you've ever not really lived anxiety, you don't really know
what it's crippling, bro.
Yeah, what it entails. And so that song, I remember when I first heard that song, I was like, this is substance. This is what a lot of rappers are missing. Butts, trucks, women, beer, boobs, like that's, to me, that's substance. No shade to anybody. I love the fun. I love the party songs. But anyway, not to get back off on anxiety, but yeah. So like, your legacy. That's right, your legacy. And this is what I want to see, Chad Arms. Mm-hmm. Not that I have any right to tell you what I want to see, but this is what I want to see. I want to see 6,000 songs. I want to see
that's the plan.
500 albums, man. Because, dude, to be honest, I mean, maybe we need to call Guinness World. Maybe we need to call Guinness World Books, because 800 songs.
I'm sure there's
Is there?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that's got more than that, but I'm proud of that catalog, man. Not and obviously
That
the
is a
earlier
legacy
stuff
in
that you go
itself.
back, the less good it is. Less good's not a word, probably or a way to say it, but it gets better as it goes. But I've had people hit me up, bro, that like my stuff from like 04. I'm like,
Yeah.
more power to you, man. I'm glad somebody likes it. It's
Some
out there.
people do. They like that raw, like unpolished
Well, plus they
stuff.
appreciate where you started. You know, like they appreciate
sure.
the beginning and just the growth along the way. But I appreciate you for doing this interview for me, man. I know it was more. We can double back. You know, again down the road on stuff that we hadn't touched on, but
Screw it. Let's triple back. I don't even care, man.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to hang. If you
Yeah.
just want to call me and talk, dude, that's. And this is one thing about Chad, man. Whenever I got the interview with Upchurch, this was really cool for me because I look up to Chad doing a lot of stuff that he does.
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of stuff in tandem or whatever. And obviously he's been in the game way longer. But so this is one of the cool things for me is like I just messaged him one night. We talked, you know, here and there about doing a song and whatnot. And so I messaged him and I was like, hey man, I was like, can I ask you a question? Like, I have a thing going on with Upchurch, and can I ask you a question? And Chad's like, yeah, bro, here's my number. I'm like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
Chad's number. Yeah. And so, like, that's the kind of stuff right there, man. You can't replace that.
man,
And,
there's not one thing about me that anybody that meets me will probably can vouch for this. I don't have a hating bone in my body, bro. Like I'm wanting to help people. I don't have no reason to keep somebody from doing something. I'm not trying to block somebody from doing something. If somebody's doing something and I respect the person, like I'll help them. And that's just how I am, bro. And if more people were like that, we'd be much further along. But that's just not reality,
right,
unfortunately. Right. But that's kind of how I look at things, bro. I'm not gonna be like, man, why is Drew doing this, bro? Like, oh, fuck yeah, Drew's doing this shit. Let's help him out. Let's try to get him the most out of what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Because especially knowing that just from experience of interviewing church and uploading the videos with church and just kind of knowing how YouTube works somewhat, whatever advice I can lend you to help you, I'm going to do that because I want you to win, bro.
And I would be a fool not to take that advice. Just for all you keyboard warriors out there. They get
happens, man.
They get thick sometimes, you know what I mean?
People got mad at me when I uploaded those Upchurch videos because they said, you're posting all the clips. Where's the full interview? I'm like, the full interview's been out for 3 months, bro.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you post the full interview, they're like, well, this is too long. Where's the shorter ones? It's like,
yeah.
bro, which is it? Like, that's why you always, the saying, the internet never loses.
Yeah.
Because the internet is never going to lose, bro.
It's the nature of the beast with just people.
You just got to accept that's what it is and be like, okay, my bad.
And this is my first time ever dealing with that kind of, which I mean, I to be honest with you, I'm a big old thick boy with long hair from the South. I've had a lot of haters even before the internet.
No, for
But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's weird. But anyways, man, all right, so do we have any time, or do we have enough time for one freaking epic story? You said you had a bunch.
Story.
If you want to tell 2, if you want to tell 3, that's cool. Whatever time allows you, man. I know you're busy, so if we have time for just one, it could be Jelly Roll, it could be anybody, just one epic story that you're like, I didn't know I was going to get out of that alive, or just crazy, or just fun, or whatever you want to tell me. You said you had some a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, man, I want to hear these stories.
trying to think, bro.
They,
Oh, dude. Well, back in the days, you know, when we were doing all those shows back in the days, man. 2009 and 2011, Chad Arms was a different situation.
was that when Chatty Bobby was?
I was Chatty Bobby. That's when Chatty Bobby was wearing all the fake jewelry, trying to
Shout out fake jewelry.
No, but bro, like I went overboard, bro. And looking back, I just laugh at it now. It's because that's 95% of the people in those venues was wearing fake jewelry, bro. It was Fugazi jewelry, and everybody was just like, it's just what it was. Well, anyway, that was back when that was a thing. And Sour Patch Kids, I don't even remember how they were such a obsession with me and everybody in Show and Prove. But like, bro, I went one day because I used to buy Sour Patch Kids and eat them all the time, right?
Yeah.
And take them to shows. Well, then there became a situation where I found out you could get the bags that were like this big.
Oh man, that is
so we started carrying them to shows, bro. And I remember there was a show in Evansville, Indiana, and We had them then. There was a show, like every time we did shows with the Rutledge, that I'd have it. And there was at some point, it was a thing where like the bag would just get passed around. This was 11 years before COVID. And I literally would pass that bag of Sour Patch Kids around. And everybody in the crowd would just dip their hand in it, grab some out, pass it to the next person. And then I'd get the bag back. And then I'm just like, God bless. Bro, there were so many hands. So many hands.
That's a whole new level of trust right there, man.
But that show, and I'll tell this story because White spoke about it. Lil White spoke about it.
Oh, shout out Lil White, man.
Shout out to Lil White. That's the homie. Evansville, Indiana. I'm performing. I was hyping some people, and then I performed a set, I think. I can't even remember. I had to have performed a set or I wouldn't have been there.
Right.
So, Lil White was the headliner. He had gotten arrested for smoking weed in the hotel or something, or got a citation or something.
Oh, okay.
So he was late, but he showed up.
Yeah.
He's performing. We're all on stage still. He gets ready to do Oxycontin song, right?
Yeah.
And somebody, I'm trying to remember, but somebody like handed him a handful of just miscellaneous pills, bro.
Oh,
just
God.
Miscellaneous ones. We talked about it in the pod
because of Oxy.
Just to get the song, and just because White was he's a partier.
Right.
But we were joking about that. So that was a crazy ass story, because like that was just the time frame back then, bro. Could you imagine now? We're on stage in 2023 at fucking Mud Bog 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
And Lil White's headline, and then we're all on stage, or anybody's headline for that matter. And somebody brings just can you imagine?
Could not
now
imagine.
with the way that things are now, but like that shit was crazy to me. But that's how things were back then, bro.
Little White was holding a 30-year sentence in his hand.
Yeah, and like he was. That's just what it was. That's just what it was back then, bro. It was it was just wild seeing that, bro. But Lil White was. People were just he said that happened all the time. That people would just put him up, bring him up on the stage, hand him to him,
walk up to him, give him pills.
Back then, you could take something like that if you were a partier and not worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, absolutely not.
Oh,
everything's
fentanyl.
Everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was wild. That was the same night as the Sour Patch bag too. So
that's a cool story, man. Thank you for telling that. Like, so you were actually there whenever somebody came up and they handed him the.
Well, I was on stage and somebody it was almost like they got him, like they set him. I can't remember if they set him on the stage because that was many years and many drugs ago and drinking ago and all that stuff. But I can't remember if they put it on the stage or they just they came up to him like this and he, but he had told that story or a story very similar to that on one of our interviews.
Yeah.
That's why I went ahead and said it on here because I knew he was cool with talking about it.
Right. Yeah, y'all go check out that interview that he interviewed Little White, and there's a lot of great clips and stuff.
We got two. We did two, and we're going to try to go for the third one here soon.
Yeah, you gonna get him again? Little White's so cool, man. I've been around him. Being around Mark Hoddick, they have a song together and whatnot, and just different shows with Justin Time, stuff like that. Shout out Justin.
Sure.
And like the Little White is like, so like the funny thing is about Little White, we were talking about it one time, and I had like a few minutes, we were just talking or whatever, and he's like, yeah, bro. He's like, people just come up to me and they think that I like put pills in my cereal bowl in the morning and just eat cereal of pills. And he's like, man, that was a song I wrote a long time ago in the stage of my life. And he's like, even back then I wasn't like out of control. And he's
like, somebody came up to him and just and just handed him a handful of them.
Like he's just gonna eat. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And that shows you, man. People, there's a lot of times out in the real world where people they misconstrue things, but that's a cool story. I've heard him talk about situations like that, and for you to be on the stage with him, that's crazy, man.
It was wild, bro.
Because Little White, dude, growing up, and he was another one. I mentioned 50 Cent back in the day, but like Little White was another one to where, like at that time, I was listening to like a lot of, metal or like Linkin Park or like something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then or like even Mudvayne, like heavy metal. But then all of a sudden, Little White album came out of nowhere. Me and my buddy, I'll never forget this, in his blue 1988 Chevy Blazer, we wore that damn CD out, dude.
Oh, Doubt Me Now was a classic. Bro.
Oh,
20 year
Doubt Me
anniversary just passed.
Yeah.
But when that CD came out, I was like, who the fuck is this cold ass white boy rapping over 3/6 beats?
Dude, yeah.
Because that's when I was working at Media Play because it came out in March of 03. And I was like, bro, this is it. I did not listen to anything else for months.
For a while, yes.
For months,
yes.
Bro. because I 3 6 Mafia was like at the time. That's when I was getting exposed to that South hip hop.
Yeah.
And they were my favorites. And then when I found out they had a white dude that was rapping, and he's like my age,
right?
I was like, what the fuck? Where did this dude come from? And then like,
Not to mention, we were playing the album. So at the time I was into rock, and he had that song with
Josie Scott.
Josie Scott, and I was like, well, I got my rock anyway, man. And then I didn't even know it at the time because that was very before its time as well, because he had a cover of the Waylon Jennings, Just a Good Old Boys. Yeah. And so that was that's another thing before its time too. So man.
Yeah, for sure. And I was saying people didn't really blend styles.
Yeah.
But White did in 2003. So I skipped over it. So
Trailblazers,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not that wasn't going on at all, but he was one of the first times I heard about it. But
yeah. It wasn't as everybody's trying to do it nowadays. It was one of those more things where somebody's like, hey, I'm an artist, I'm going to try to do this. All right, so man, I hate to keep you much longer. Can you give us one more? So this is the last question, I suppose, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Can you give us any advice for somebody who's coming up and they're wanting to do a channel with media or a channel for music? You do both. So can you give us any free game, or do they have to pay for it?
Oh no, man! I don't
make them pay. No, I'm just kidding.
My advice to anybody that's wanting to come up and do a YouTube channel, a media channel, just from personal experience, there's a few things you have to be consistent, and don't try to build your channel off of negativity or drama, because that won't last. People won't take you as serious. Build solid foundations with people. Build solid relationships with artists and with content creators. Show love. Take advice from other people that have been doing it. Don't feel like you can't be taught anything. And just focus. Invest in yourself. Huge thing. So you got to make sure people, if you want people to take you serious, it has to look right, it has to sound right. You've just got to, and just be consistent. Don't look at your numbers. Don't stress about your numbers. If you do it because you love doing it, I just made a post on Facebook about this. Don't do it because you love to do it and it's what you're passionate about.
Right.
Don't focus on what the numbers are or aren't. Because if you're doing it for the right reasons, all that stuff will happen. But you have to do it. You have to be want to do it for the right reasons. That would be my advice, and just be consistent. Mainly, first and foremost, be consistent.
Wow, dude. All those, and here's the thing, guys. If you're watching this and you do those 3 things, you're going to do good anyway. I mean, you're just going to do good just out of sheer, like, people or organic growth. Because man, when you put in, your church talked about this a lot. When you put out positive energy, man, you get something back in the universe.
It's for sure. I'm a testament to that, because I put out nothing but positive energy and I'm nice to everybody and try to help everybody out. And I've been blessed with a lot of opportunities. Not that I didn't deserve them, because I worked, but had I not been such a positive person, I wouldn't have gotten the amount of blessings that I've gotten. I'll say that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, my hard work would have gotten me some of them, or at least opportunities, but you don't have 20-year relationships, 15-year relationships, 10-year relationships with people
out of coincidence
and not be a good person. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's on both sides of that, not just me, just with the other people. But just be consistent and focus on building solid relationships and positivity. Don't try to do drama, negative stuff, because that's a quick fix. Like, that maybe get you some views, but that's not gonna. You need to build it the right way.
Absolutely. People ain't gonna stick around. Nobody likes negativity for that.
No, man. I mean, for a little bit it's cool, but like, again, it's like, what do you want to be remembered for? You know?
Right.
Try to uplift people. Try to inspire people.
Well, bro, you got anything else to say before we shut her down?
Man, Show Improve Entertainment, Chat Arms TV. I got some shit to say. The podcast. I have a movie podcast with my homie Tony. Over the Top with Chad and Tony. It's on my other channel, Chatty Bobby 1130. I'm a movie buff, so I love movies. So me and my boy Tony do a weekly podcast on there every Thursday. I love it. We're about 10 episodes in while this is being filmed. I got some Shit State podcast every Monday, every Friday, like clockwork. And we're just going to keep working, man. Show Improve. We're going to be putting out a lot of content this year. in the foreseeable future. So tap in, Drew. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for sitting down with me. I appreciate the willingness to want to learn my story. And
It's a privilege, bro.
I love you, dog, and I'm here for you, for sure.
All right, guys, we're out. We're out. Y'all go down that Chad Arms rabbit hole.
Bow.